It's Friday night. It's 7 p.m. It is the 2nd of April in the year 2021. What's up, Earthlings? What's going on? I'm hoping everyone's well. It is the day after April Fool's Day. It's cold as hell. Do y'all feel like April Fool like I do? I remember April being a lot warmer. I remember the Easter weekend possibly going in shorts, so lightweight. Yo, I need my coat. It's cold as hell out. I don't know what's going on. I'll tell you what, global warming is a bitch. I'm not with it. So let me take my hat off. Started off. Tip my hat off to all those out there, making sure everybody's well. Now, just a few topics that we're going to talk about right now before we open up the show to everyone else. One of the things I want people to remember is that, unfortunately, looking at the cases, let's talk COVID. Let's talk real. Let's talk some real numbers. Looking at the current situation today, as of this date, is 914,000 cases in the state of New Jersey of people with COVID-19. These are people that are identified as being positive or being tested positive. Remember, it doesn't necessarily mean that's everyone who has COVID-19, because there's a large population that may have COVID-19 who hasn't been hospitalized, hasn't been identified. They're keeping it to themselves for fear of being ostracized, made to suffer psychologically. You know how people treat people really bad when you find out they're ill and so on and so forth. You know how unfortunate human beings can be. So out of those 914,000 cases, 24,591 souls have passed on to the next plane. Nearly 25,000 New Jersey residents have died from COVID-19, or not necessarily died from COVID-19, but symptoms that were exacerbated because of COVID-19, or their bodies made weak even more so because COVID-19. Because if you're aware how COVID-19 works, it makes your immune systems even weaker. And so anything that affects you, say if you have a recurring or an pre-existing illness, it makes your body even weaker, where you can't fight this the issue. You know what I mean? So it's a great concern in the realm of life these days, because you have to really pay attention how COVID-19 could potentially affect us on an everyday basis. But I wanted to make sure that anyone who was aware, weaker, and so anything that affects you, say if you haven't, sorry y'all, trying to make sure that I have your body even weaker, where you can't video access on all planes. So back to what I was saying before. COVID-19 is such a real thing, and it's even more so. And again, for those who may not know, the new norm has basically spawned or was created in the under the umbrella of the pandemic was affecting those of us, and we got together. It was like, all right, we like podcasts. We were working on podcasts as it is, so we thought, okay, let's do something like this. Could be helpful, informative, could be fun. We joke around, be jovial about stuff, but very informative to the general public who may not necessarily have access or may be interested in informing others. Because unfortunately, the way news is, you can't necessarily trust everyone. So you can't, as you say, you can't really trust everyone. But we got to get the information somewhere. So let's go back to COVID. Now let's talk vaccinations. These numbers are kind of crazy, man. 4.66 million people have already been vaccinated in New Jersey. 4.66 million. Of them, 1.8 million have had a full dose of vaccines, because the majority of vaccines require 2 doses. So 1.8 million, which is 20% of the general population here, have been fully vaccinated. Again, I want to make sure that people understand, fully vaccination doesn't mean that you are safe from catching COVID-19. It just helps your body to be able to address and adapt to the potential of COVID-19 affecting you, and prevent you from going through a downward spiral and your body really can't defend itself. So it arms you with some tools and some weapons, your body, to be able to defend yourself against COVID-19 so you won't succumb to it like so many people have in the past. I am of, I'm a very much a strong proponent of making sure that you take care of your personal health, making sure that you can arm yourself by having the best immune system possible, the strongest immune system possible. So that adds additional protection in your body. And it protects us all if we're able to be protected within internal. So remember, the intestines are the areas where your immune system is really works. So if you're not allowing for your digestive tract to be fully clean, if it's cleansed, if it's sitting up there with a bunch of gunk, if it's red meat, things that shouldn't be sitting in your intestinal tract and sitting too long, things like that can really affect you. So if there's a way that you can help prevent it by eating more fiber foods, more green vegetables, less protein, less meat, then do so. But ultimately, what you're going to definitely need more of is more water. A big percentage, I think last time I looked at it, was like 66.75%, something like that, 66.25% of the United States population is starved of water content. It's not enough oxygenated water, liquids into their system. They drown themselves. We tend to drown ourselves by using liquids that are not water. We have a tendency of using, and then we automatically make that connection. If I'm thirsty, I'm going to drink something that's a liquid, not thinking that it could possibly be working against you. Those that like to indulge in alcohol, you don't know that it dehydrates you. It's a diuretic. You drink alcohol, it drains your body of liquids. You notice when you're drinking beer and all of a sudden you got to pee, you got to pee often. It dehydrates you. It is a natural diuretic. Diuretics are things that take out the water out of your system, and you have to go to the bathroom more. So if you're drinking alcohol, you're starving your body of what liquids you do have in your system anyway. In addition to that, you have a lot of sugar-based, lactose-based liquids that are harmful to your system. You know, I've always said, don't drink a liquid whose color isn't easily found in nature. Or if it's found in nature, if it's found growing as a plant, then it's good. If you see it growing as a fungus, then it's okay. It's all good. But if you don't see it growing and you're thinking about drinking it, think twice. It may not be helpful. A lot of these toxic chemicals out here, things that we know are toxic and caustic and cancerous, those are the same colors that you see like Monster and Mountain Dew and Calypso Blue Lemonade. All these different things that you and I both like. We have a tendency of seeing it at the corner store or the 7-Eleven or the Wawa on the run, and we're thinking one's not going to hurt us. And it may not hurt us right now, but if one turns into a pack a week, and if a pack a week turns into having a case a month, and that becomes more of a repetitive behavior, it's just like you shoveling a whole bunch of poison into your system, and it's not helpful. So whatever you can do to avoid that type of behavior, do so. It's not easy, but it's required. And sometimes we ourselves have a tendency of mismanaging funds. How many times you go into a store, right, and you see something that you know is healthy, but you look at the price and say, hell no, I'm not paying that much. But we'll go to someplace else and see some item that you know shouldn't cost as much as it is, but because you wanted it that bad, you don't mind spending extra money. You know, that's where our mentality is. We value certain things and then we devalue another. You know, yes, the salad might cost us $8. So we're thinking, who's going to pay $8 for a salad? Who's going to pay $10 for a salad? But we don't mind paying $32 for a piece of steak. We don't mind paying $40 for a Wagyu burger. Things like this. You know, we have a value system. Americans and society today, we have the value system is kind of fucked up. I wish I knew about what I know now, much younger, and in a much younger situation. Maybe I could have been healthier, but it is what it is. I come from the people of the sun, and we make it. We do what we can, what we have. So we make it work with what little we have, and we continue to go on, and we do what we can when we can do it. So I don't know why, but it's crazy. Every time I go live on Facebook, I try to put it on always as public, but it always wants to revert back to the concept of friends and friends of friends only, and that eliminates the opportunity of being able to communicate back and forth. So if you didn't see it a second ago, please forgive me. I just made sure I had the button clicked. And on YouTube, I'm watching it also, and it's there also, and it's live on YouTube. So that's the discussion. And I don't know, folks, if you guys have been paying attention, but we've had, check these numbers out. We've had 104 mass shootings among 29 states in America in the year 2021. 104 mass shootings. Just today, we saw a accident took place. I'm gonna say an accident. It seemed like some fool ran a car into the Capitol. Again, another situation. It's not gun violence, but I'm gonna attribute one to the other. I think the individuals who want to really cause some issues in government are testing the walls again at the Capitol. I don't know what it is. Sending out a hello to Miss Shelley Smith Daniels. Happy Good Friday to you too as well. So in addition to you've seen there was a mass shooting in Missouri. I've seen some gun violence take place. It's crazy how chaotic how the world is becoming. And one of the topics I wanted to see if we can discuss this week or touch base is the reality that this world right now is being tested. Our society as human beings is being tested. Mental health is being strained at such a high intensity because of the pandemic and the restrictions that we've had to live under, the expectations that we've made upon our government and one another, and then the overwhelming reality of how the shortcomings as us as human beings, as the shortcomings we face daily from human beings and humans being and humans doing what humans do. It's really trying. I was just speaking to some of my neighbors here in Atlantic City on our boardwalk. There is a protest taking place right now on the boardwalk. The Boardwalk Merchants Association, which is comprised of a large population of brothers and sisters from other parts of the planet who come to Atlantic City, started businesses here, and they've cried on to the public safety directives to see what they can get more attention to the fact that we've had mass amounts of thefts taking place up and down the boardwalk. Large amounts of the amount of cases that have taken place so far this year are horrible. And it seems to be a same grouping of people, seems to be kids. They're going into these stores on the boardwalk and they're ransacking and doing these grab and dash type things and whatever situation take place. But last night, something happened horribly. One of the store owners was assaulted, apparently from what I was told, assaulted with a knife, and in his situation, trying to defend himself, the scurry took place or whatever, he fell and he had a heart attack that he wasn't able to survive. So we send our thoughts and prayers to his family and to the community in general. And as I said earlier, to the population that was there, we're all going through some really hard times right now. The pandemic is causing us to look at things differently. We're very concerned about, exactly, Shamika. We're very concerned about how we're going to bring food to the table. Those of us who have to depend on commerce And we're so concerned on the systems that are supposed to be there in place to assist us, like safety. And when it doesn't, one thing, it's a domino effect, and one thing affects the other. And then the outcome is it's a large community being made to feel as if there's not enough support. No one cares about you. And the reality is that although this community is suffering right now, it's an example of suffering that this community has had in other situations many times before. Violence is something that seems to be an option to those who are desperate, are left to feel that there's no other option. And it's really sad because America is the land of opportunities. We are looked upon in the world as being, you can make it. You work hard and you do what you can make it. And we still hold on to that credo. America is a wonderful place for opportunities. But with opportunities, as we've seen, it also exposes the opportunists. And some opportunists are willing to do whatever it takes to take from you whatever they can so they can get the benefit. Some use knives, others use pens. Some use violent tactics, physical violent tactics. Others use procedures and paperwork. It's the bully mentality that we see too often in Atlantic City and across our borders all over the United States right now. The pandemic has caused us now to look at things in a cute manner, in a fashion that we have to be very creative, strategic about the things. Our young people are really striving to go back to some normalcy, and I understand. These are young people. They have not had to go through some of the concerns that we've gone through. They've not had to endure some of the hardships we are. So they don't understand, and they're not necessarily equipped, to deal with some of the adaptations necessary. And it's a shame because as parents and as grandparents, we've never wanted them to suffer. We wanted to create an atmosphere that they didn't have to worry. We wanted to create a pampering community of opportunities that flourished opportunities for them. But unfortunately, the truth is it's failed. It's broken. Is it, worth throwing in the trash? No, hell no. I think there's still a great opportunity for us. And if we band together, we can get a lot accomplished. However, we have to identify the broken pieces. We have to identify the things and the systems that don't work. One thing that I've seen in Atlantic City is just an example, because if anybody's watching outside of Atlantic City, I'm located here in Atlantic City, and I speak with that in mind, pardon me. I speak from that perspective. However, what I'm saying I know can be felt and understood and applied all over. And if you're willing to come on down, share your sentiments, share your concerns. There's the truth is, we're going through it. All of us are going through all kinds of things. So we want to make sure that the things that we see and hear are as factual as necessary as we possibly can, and it's the perspective is wide. Now, back to what I was saying before, as far as some of the issues that we're facing, the systems. One thing that I think that we are fearful of challenging in society is we are assuming that if a system works, then it doesn't need to be fixed. If a system is working in some way, even if it's working against us, that's the said system that should exist. That's far from true. Remember, every criminal element has to be developed through a system, and there's a system needed for that criminal element to be successful. So systems can be deteriorated, can be chopped up, can be torn down. A system can be transplanted. There's so many things. We just have to identify the systems that work and the ones that don't work. We have to open our mouths. Not everything that we see happen or we've seen happen has to be. Not everyone who is in power should be. Not remember, when it comes to America and the way our systems of democracy, the power is in the people, not in the process. The power is in the people who yield that process. But it's only because the people, the population that empower that person is so. So if we as a population stand up against the things that are wrong and stand up for the things, not only against the things that are wrong, but for things that we need and what we want and what we deserve, we would accomplish a lot more. One thing I've noticed in America, I know from my situation here in Atlantic City, you know what I hear a lot of, and it's sad to say, I hear a lot of complaints from residents and from people who are natural residents of the United States, complain that immigrants get opportunities to come into the United States, and they get all these advantages, and they start businesses, and they buy homes and so on and so forth because of the advantages that were provided for them. And if you are limited in your thought process, if you're narrow-minded, then yeah, that's evidently true in your mind. However, some of the truths that exist are the same opportunities available to them are available to you. Are you willing to sacrifice what they do? Have you ever seen an immigrant that just opens up a business? Have you ever had a conversation with them to see what kind of sacrifices they've had to make? I've had the pleasure of knowing quite a few individuals that come from other countries, and they've told me many a story how they have 30, 40 people living in their homes with them. Each of them share the expenses to live there. They share in their savings to buy a property or a business, and then they divert profits to one another equally. But it all goes after it replenishes the original bank to take care of lives for themselves. Then there's a responsibility of them having to save money and send money back home to their original homes. It's a very difficult, it's a very difficult circumstance, but it's not incredible. It's something that we could all do if we understood that sacrificing for a small bit of time can yield us such a great benefit if we actually were willing to do so. You know, some of us that start businesses, some of us Americans that are so indoctrinated in this American concept of success, we always want to pay ourselves first. And when we pay ourselves, we want to pay ourselves in large increments. When we want to have a business, we think that business we can write off the Mercedes Benz or this beautiful brand new SUV, huge vehicle, and what have you. And this, in certain instances, some businesses, people do that. Is it something that they're forgive me for the pause. Shamika had asked a question as far as the city heating hot water in Stanley homes. I'll address that in a second, Shamika, because I think that's a policy concern, and I try not to get too much about city policies on the show. However, I'll address that because the welfare, the general welfare of the population in the community of Stanley Homes Village is very important to me, and it's a concern because of the underlying infrastructure of water in those buildings and the steam and then the warming units. It's so much that's antiquated. We're talking about 1930s, 1940s. I think that was around the time frame that was first implemented. So there was a major upgrade that was intended but happened. We had Superstorm Sandy and other torrential rainfalls and things that dampen the area and the whole. So we've reached out to Tom Hannon, the acting executive director of HUD, and he's tried to do what he can to have all hands on deck to ensure that the hot water is available and water's clean. But they have to work with other facilitating companies to be able to do so, including the AC Municipal Utilities Authority, water company, South Jersey Gas, and things like this, because all those involved. So there's a lot of factors being in place. In addition to, there's a migration strategy that was put in place to try to develop a parcel in Atlantic City to build new housing to suffice for supplanting all the people that live in Stanley Homes Village to have them being able chance to move to that area while the present Standing Hills Village gets addressed. Okay. Shamika, you're typing a lot. Us old heads, we'd rather talk. You're welcome to come on the show. I told you that before. But the 90-day voucher, I think, is a temporary thing. It's not a good thing, because if there's nothing available, I don't know what is. But we can bring them to the table. That's one of the things about the power of the people, is that you have the authority to be able to have a discussion with whoever it is. Bring them to the table, have a discussion. Tom is on Facebook. Tom is usually answer a phone call. So, maybe there's a chance we can reach out, have an encouragement, probably tap onto it, have him come on the show. We can just ask some quick questions. He's always been pretty good at giving us honest answers, even when it's a situation of fault and he has to consume the fault. So, we can do that. We can do that. Good to hear that, Shamika. Good to hear that. Keep pushing, baby. Keep pushing. So, in moving forward, one of the things I wanted to say as far as the mechanisms of ownership and business here, the dilemmas that we're facing right now, it's like a reset. It's a cerebral universal reset button that we all should be in the process of hitting. If we're going to continuously follow the same tracks and trends that we've had in the past, then there's no evolution, there's no development, there's no growth in our lives, and we have to do that reset button. Remember, when it comes to things in the works of life itself, everything is cyclical. What goes around comes around. Energy has to follow the realms of energy, and it finds itself. It finds its equal. The opposites don't necessarily mix well, but they attract, that type of deal. But you need the yin and yang. There's so many factors historically that speak about energy and speaks about development, and you apply them. This is not a new world science type deal. It's just common sense. If we have a chance now to hit the reset button to do things properly, do things better, so we can benefit from them, let's do it. Going back to the concepts of my immigrant brothers and sisters out there, there's a lot who are going through hardships, and it's sad to say, one of the truths that we're facing is right now is that population feels ostracized. That population feels like they're carrying the burden by themselves. And it's a really unfortunate situation, because what it is doing is drawing lines in the sand. And that drawing lines in the sands is unhealthy to a community who's already been tethered and pulled apart by different factors, whether it's the economy, politics, crime, violence, all those things that a big city or a small city with big city endeavors has. And we have to do better about that. This community, the Asian population, is going through all kinds of hardships right now. And the reality is that us, people of color, Black people here, Black and Latinos, we've suffered similar things for decades in America, decades. And haven't had the type of support that we thought we could have in the past. And maybe some of the Asian population is starting to recognize that. And it's to no fault of their own, because a lot of them are just doing what they can based on the restrictions and the parameters that life has provided them as immigrants here in America, and the way immigrants are treated here in America. And depending on the regions, some immigrants than others, depends on the region, depends on the type of business, depends on what they bring to the table. So those are unfortunate truths that are all playing in part. And right now, this community is suffering. The violence that we're seeing nationally against Asians is very hard to digest as a human being who has a heart. Because myself, I'm a person who's very empathetic of everyone and their suffering, and I look at it in a wider scope of things. I'm very pro-Black, pro-Latino, but I'm never anti anything. I'm about pro-life, pro-love, pro-unity. I firmly believe that we may come from different origins, but where I live, where I'm from, we're one family. And I try to treat everyone the same way. But the absolute defining realities that we have is that our communities have suffered with so much pain and so much deceit and dissension within the ranks of our own people that we don't trust one another. let alone trust someone who doesn't look like us or don't talk like us. Some of us don't pray the same. Some of us don't love the same. So we don't trust one another. And trust is not an easy thing. It's a commodity that we've wasted so long in things that we shouldn't have wasted. And because we're not trusting individuals, it's hard right now to be able to throw trust around in a community when community members hurt. I was blessed to be born in a time frame where I was able to see quite a lot of hardship. And I say it's a blessing because I survived it. My mother, being an amazing gladiator of a warrior queen, shown me by example what strength was. My community around, you saw the strong queens in the community. You saw how they pulled together and made things happen. We had one big plate of rice and the entire community ate. We had one person had extension cords coming out of their windows almost a block long to ensure that there was electricity at a family's house who couldn't pay for electricity at that time. I come from that type of community. And I think that community still exists at this point in time, even during these hardships where we have individuals who may not come from the same origins that we come from. But I think we still have that. We still have the potential of pulling it together. If we stop looking for a me, and stop worrying about us, and understand that all those pronouns don't mean shit in the world. Because ultimately, the only person's important is the person that you are, the I am within you, the being that you are. If the being of who you are resonates good into the world, it's going to return to you. If the being who you are represents all that is good, then it's going to come back to you. You're going to be tested like everything, like everyone. We're all tested. But if you maintain that mantra, if you continue to be that good energy, that great example of what's good and what's right, you can be joking. You can be a borderline asshole at times with your comedic ways. I know sometimes I can be. But my essence is good. And I try to be protective of the essence is good because I get tested all the time. And something that I saw, I say a few months ago, there's a brother from Houston. I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Ngwingwe. This brother is a rapper, singer, an entertainer, amazing from the greater Houston area. That brother came out with a saying in a song that hit it right on the nose. He said, "Test Jesus, don't test me." And in essence was like, the Christian faith tells you that you'll be forgiven and so on and so forth, and you'll be, love and do unto others, a lot of passive gestures, whatever. But our definitive presence now, subsequent all the hardships that we've gone through generationally, suggests that we shouldn't be passive. We should be very concrete in what we say, and we draw the line. It doesn't mean that we're aggressive. We want to take someone else's. It just means that we're not going to tolerate someone trying to abuse of us. Test Jesus, don't test me. We all looked at things that same way. Maybe we'd understand what the concept, good fences make good neighbors. But when we're talking about a community like ours, Atlantic City is not that big. It's only 40 blocks, 48 and 12. I think that's the case. Sometimes we act as if we're larger. Sometimes we act like we're Philadelphia, having hundreds of miles of landscape within their borders, like New York City, where you have smaller cities that make up the larger city called New York City. We're not. We act as if we are. If you throw one rock as hard as you can from one side of Atlantic City, guaranteed, you could probably hit somebody on the opposite side. So that, just saying that as an example to say, we can't act as if we're ambivalent to what's happening to us on one side of the community. We can't, because what's affecting one side of the community also affects the others. So we have to do better. We have to do more. Have to be attentive to our pains and our sufferings. our neighbors are going through some struggles, do what you can to help them out. If we have family members that we know are barely making it, if we have abundance, if we have excess, doesn't cost us anymore to give to them, to help out. And during the situation of the pandemic, we've seen how there's systems in place to help us out with food. There's some systems that can help us out with some financial difficulties. And we're seeing that there's more of a need for a system to help us out with our mental health. And in our communities, I know the community I was raised on, our mental health therapy came to telling your mom, and your mom be like, stop crying. You got work to do. Your dad telling you, suck it up. There is no crying for you. And we've come to find out that's the toxic behavior that we've been fed for so long that's been counterproductive. And now we have individuals who are softer than feathers. They're very fragile. Individuals that really can't navigate through hardships in life. So they unfortunately go through coping mechanisms that are unhealthy. We have the opioid pandemic. We have a pandemic of opioid drug use. Society is navigating through being obliging or allowing for drugs to be a permanent part of our society. In some instances, it's a good thing. Like, I'm an advocate for marijuana for those who have cancer and situations for the healing properties. I'm very supportive of people who use some drugs, like in ayahuasca, for their spiritual journeys. I can't remember the actual component. It's not the MDMA. I think that's the acronym. I can't remember if it's a barbiturate or if it's something else, but there's chronic drugs or hard drugs that are used for good things. It's the recreational portion of it that I'm uneasy with. Because when you recreate or choose to recreate with things that can potentially be harmful, then you yourself adopt it on as a normal thing, and then it won't be abnormal when something bad happens, because it's just part of the course. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those type of things. It's like throwing knives all the time, right? And you're just throwing a knife everywhere, and people see it, and they just, he just throws knives all of a sudden. Then he stabs somebody. Oh, well, you knew he threw his knife. He threw his knife, so, it wasn't his fault. Well, it wasn't. Got to be responsible. Just like somebody who's constantly doing drugs. If they overdose, is it their fault? I think it's more our fault because we've allowed it. It's our fault because we didn't intervene. We didn't intercede in a man's life or a woman's life and help protect them from falling into that wormhole, falling into that vortex, and then potentially losing their lives. So there's a lot of responsibility in all this. There's a lot of obligation that I think some of us don't navigate away from. So in essence, we have to do what we can to move forward. We have to do better. So as my brothers and sisters from the immigrant population are trying to navigate through these hardships and through the fears, concerns they are, just know my heart's with you, my thoughts are with you. But I'm also going to implore you to dig deeper than the pain that you're feeling right now, because pain sometimes exposes the shortcomings in our character. And what I'm seeing in Atlantic City right now, something that we have to pay attention is this can potentially cause a racial divide, a community divided further solely by race. And that's something that's dangerous, and it's not healthy. And I am not comfortable when you have people who play these games in the background trying to navigate and use one race versus the other, creating enemies so they can benefit at the end. My enemy is my friend type deal. Or watching the enemies fight one another, and then you sit back and bear victory for their losses. We're talking about people's lives. We're talking about a community. We're talking about someplace that we consider home. I don't know about you, but home is not a place where chaos lives. Shouldn't be. Too many of us have had to live in chaos and have had to navigate, who've unfortunately suffered from having to live in chaos and have yet to have the opportunity to be at peace. who have yet to find that opportunity to actually know what love is, to actually laugh deeply from within inside because they've been consumed with so much chaos. And in some instances, and it reminds me of an analogy that someone had made years ago that made so much sense. Let me see if I can bring it together. Think about an elephant that you see in circuses. You see them rock back and forth, right? They rocking back and forth. That is institutionalized behavior. They rock back and forth, creating this space where they feel comfortable and they're encaged. They feel encaged. They hold on to that so long that that's the realm that they're comfortable with. They're made to feel comfortable with. You find people beating them and whipping them to ensure that they stay within that small parameter. When you cut the strings and they're free, they will still rock back and forth. They don't know what it is to be free because their mind is set on rocking back and forth. That same elephant could have been born as a small, what I think is a cub. I think that's what elephant baby is called, a cub. Okay. Steps on a thorn, gets a thorn on the foot. It hurts. There's no one to save it. He has to adapt. He grows. It becomes less and less uncomfortable. It becomes less abnormal and it becomes part of the normal thing. As they get older, it's no longer a relevant thing because it's always been there. It's become something that they've adapted to. The minute someone later on, after everything is normal to them with this thorn in their hoof for so long, it no longer hurts them anymore. It's just there. So a veterinarian finds it, pulls it out, and all of a sudden, pain awakens because that elephant has had to adapt to it. Doesn't know a life without it. Doesn't know what life is without pain. So the decision is either put it back so they can get comfortable or have them adapt to it through the process of pain. In some instances in our lives, it's the same thing. Some of us have had to endure a fucked up life and built life around that fucked up behavior. Really caustic, very parasitic behavior. You know, adults feeding on children, like having sex with children. Parents having drug parties around children. Encouraging children to learn drugs and alcohol. Sex being widely thrown around. Theft taking place. Violence, gun violence, knives. All these things in an atmosphere, right? That type of behavior teaches a child how to navigate. It doesn't teach them how to survive because they're naturally going to survive and they adapt based on the atmosphere. So as they're older, they don't know what it is to live peaceful because they come from an atmosphere where it's only been chaotic, where it's only been two people coming at each other or groups of people coming at each other. They can't reason or understand a relationship between human beings without being violent, without being caustic, without being oppositional. Got to be us versus them. So because they can't understand it, the minute they find peace, they destroy it. They destroy it. They find some way to destroy it to bring back the comfort that they've had in chaos. And some people just don't know how to live without chaos. Some people are just so messed up that the minute they see chaos, they see it and they look and they say, that's wrong. That's the devil. That's wrong. And because they're so twisted and their minds have never been placed in the right path, they've never understood the right way of doing things and how things are. They look at people living in the right way as oppositional. They look like, they shouldn't be so on and so forth. And they become, and sometimes offended. Then you'll see some jealousy. Then because a person is chaotic and been brought in all kinds of chaos and deceit and all this detrimental, all the negative energy that the person has been raised up in, that jealousy now becomes aggressive. Then that person looks to destroy the next person because I'm not going to let you be your type of happy because I need my type of happy because that's the only happy I know. And ultimately, the real dilemma exposes his ugly face. We got a fucked up society. And some of us don't know how to be happy. Some of us don't know how to live right. Some of us don't understand that just because a person speaks differently doesn't make them worse, doesn't make them less, doesn't make them better. Just because you have people coming from other parts of the world here to the United States doesn't mean they want to take from you. They could be here to help you. They could be a missing key or a missing piece in that puzzle in your life you've been crying for forever. You know, some of us, we to prayer and we pray about things that we want, and we pray about things that we need, and we're praying, please God, take the negative away from us and get the positive, and so on and so forth. And because we're so lost in all the nonsense, we don't see the truth in front of us, that this peace that we've been crying for, it's been there all along. Just we have to open our mouths, we have to open our hearts, open our minds, reach your hand out to the brother or sister, speak to the child, or never know where wisdom comes from. Just because a person has a title of a teacher doesn't mean you'll learn from them. Because most of the time you'll learn from a child more than you'll learn from an old scholar. That's how life teaches us. So it is now 7:47 p.m. I'm going to get off my soapbox for a minute, and hoping that you were inspired a little bit or touched into some truth. I just wanted to share my perspective about some things that are going on. This anti-Asian rhetoric that's going on, I don't support it. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. I think it's equal to the anti-Black, anti-Latino, anti-Jew. Anything that's anti, I'm not good. I'm here. I've accepted my mission to be here to be a healer, to help bring people together, to facilitate peace, to facilitate happiness. I'm not good at war per se. However, I'll throw down. I'm an Aries. I was born in war, you know. I can throw down like the best of them, only because I've had to. Do I choose to? No. I'd rather have a cookout, serve you a plate, give you something to drink. Let's talk. Let's shoot the shit. Let's get together. Let's bond. That's what I'd rather do. I know my mission, the essence of the person I am, is about bringing people together, to find some truths and reality, navigate through the nonsense in life, kick it out best way you can, be a workhorse to try to make life better. I don't want to be a general. I don't want to be a president. I sure as hell don't want to be a leader per se. But I know I am, because people are looking upon me. So I want to be the best leader I can be. So at least my son will be proud, my wife will be proud, my mother will be proud. And my ancestors that watch upon me can feel good of the energy they've spent on me and have encouraged me to push into the world. So I encourage you folks, my people out here, use the energy that's around you, gravitate to the good, and push that good back out into the world. That's what we need, because we are so consumed with the negativity, and we see so many negative people do things around us, and we get lost with the facade that what they're doing is good, when in essence it isn't. They might be doing something good for you, but the circumstance is something bad for many people. Many people have to suffer so you can get something good out of it. That's why I said months ago, you have to be careful about the whole concept of what's good, because what you think is good may not be good at all. What you think is good is only good for you. Doesn't mean it's good. It's just good for you. And who's to say that this world owes you anything for you to gain and everyone else should suffer? So we got work to do, y'all. We got the work to do. It is 10 minutes to 8. It is Friday. This is the new norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. I'm your boy Mo. It's been cold. April. It reminds me of the day my son was born. It was really cold. My son was born April 14th. I remember taking him home, and we had like heavy coats, and it was cold in April. But I remember growing up where April, around Easter, we'd go to Great Adventures, and we go to Wildwood and things like this, and we, can dress a little lighter. It was more so sweatsuits and windbreaker suits, stuff. Nothing like midsummer, or people enjoying Florida or California and some places in the Gulf Coast where they're able to enjoy themselves a little bit more. Nothing like that, but it wasn't as cold as it is. And I'm wondering, I'm like, this climate change, can it get any better? Because it sucks. It sucks. All right, let me get the invite together. And for those that might be sitting in the background waiting to come in, I'll put it up on the screen. You guys, if you're looking on Facebook, you'll see it in the comment section if you'd like to come on in. And on YouTube, if you're watching it on YouTube, if you'd like to come in, I'm also going to send it there. However, let me remind folks something that I think may not necessarily come to mind when dealing with this, because before, when we used another mechanism to be able to broadcast, which we used Zoom at that time, it was a lot easier just to go click on it and you would be on. But because this is another company, and with such way it's encrypted, so it prevents from people hacking, or as they called it one time, stream bombing, popping up saying all kinds of nasty shit and whatever. It prevents people who are unwanted to be able to come on at any time. So it's encrypted. So folks, if by some chance you're watching the show and you're thinking you want to come on and you can't, you click on the button, you're not able to, what I need you to do is, if possible, I need you to erase your cookies. Cookies are the imprint that an application or computer program leaves in your device as a stepping stone. So whenever you do return, it automatically leads you to that because it makes it easier for someone to be able to connect that way. So they try to make it easier, and that's what cookies is. So in an encryption process, cookies is also part of the problem. So for anyone who's willing to come on, if you want to, just erase your cookies and then click on, and then everything will be coochie crunch. Cool, cool, cool. I see my brother from another. My man Adrian's popping on. Hey, Hugs is in the house. What's up, brother? You on, Adrian?
Yeah, I'm only seeing like. There you go.
Yeah.
Like a big half. Wow, everything's in 3D or something, or what?
I don't know. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, not bad, man. How you doing?
Okay, how was your week?
Excellent, man. It seems like I'm trying to get focused with this camera right here, so bear with me here.
Last week it was odd because when you're having dilemmas like this, I was like, hold up, he's never had issues like this. I'm like, what's going on?
Well, think about it, because everyone else, was pretty good. I don't understand, get it.
Yeah.
When you pay top dollar for high speed, you should be getting it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Not slow speed or snail speed,
I had to find out with my issue. Remember, I was the only person that with the lagging. I had to find out that what it was the camera. I was trying to broadcast in 4K, and there's not enough bandwidth connected for me to be able to. So I just knocked it all the way down to 420, and bam, here you go. This beautiful face now in 420. So it made it easier.
You should have a higher denominator, man. I'm telling you,
Yeah. But I was thinking about you last night, bro. Guess what I was doing?
What's up?
I'm sorry, that don't even sound good.
No, it's so good. So good, man.
I watched 2 movies, and they of big interest to me because they were in Trinidad. And I thought about you. One is called Moko Jupe. I think it's Moko Jupe. Story about a young Indian or Pakistani young lady returning to the island Trinidad to where she was raised, but went to her aunt's house, and her aunt's situation living across of regular traditional or a family in Trinidad that there's always circumspect people like, oh, you don't deal with them this way. And the young girl was just so curious. She wanted to find out about them. So it was just a story between 2 separate people, and they identified one is Indian and the other was African. That was the ideology that they talked about. Okay. And then the second movie I watched It was called Ramobi. It was like Bollywood, and I was like, okay, this is a whole nother genre. But what was cool again, I love hearing dialects. I love hearing how people, and I love seeing how people live. And to be honest, I knew that Trinidad was very populated. And I think the ranking is number 3 out of all islands or areas within the Caribbean. It's the third most populated region. I was like, okay, cool. And then I just didn't know how developed it was. Islands. I looked at islands like houses and stuff like that. You know how the leftovers of the conquistadors and the French and English and so on and so forth. Nice houses, beautiful territories, and there's businesses, but I didn't know how widely developed it was. And the second movie that I saw showed it. I was like, wow, okay, that's cool as hell. I never do it. I never known what San Fernando looked like, and they showed it. I was like, oh, that's a pretty big town.
Yeah.
But it also
James,
yeah. But it also showed like the real world things that are affecting people there too. I was like, yeah, that sucks. No matter where you go, and it was deep.
That's what I've been preaching, man. Doesn't matter where you go, it's still the same bullshiggity, you know.
Hell yeah, very true, very true.
You can get on a flight and get away from here. It don't mean that you're gonna be running away from that nonsense. You might be running into it.
Very true. I still want to go visit. But I know that there's no such thing as Wonderland, that type of deal. But that was real.
No, perfect island.
After watching both movies, I said after watching both movies, I think I had enough soca for a while. I was listening to so much. It was so much drum pan sound and the roots and all that stuff. I was listening to so much. I was like getting flashbacks from what I remember when I was in college. And I was like, I like that. I don't like this new stuff. I like that stuff. So I was like, okay. But it was kind of cool, man. And I kept thinking about you. I was like, just trying to understand more how people, there's a mindset. You know what I mean? There's a mindset. Here, Americans have a mindset, and people who come in from other areas have a mindset. And we clash it sometimes because we don't see the same mindset. We don't have the same mindset. One of the things that even in my old age now, I'm realizing and have been in a point of realization that Black history here in the United States has certain elements that shine bright or a lot of exposure to slavery. But Black history worldwide doesn't have those same elements. So someone who comes in, a Black man that might come in from Guyana, or a Black man that comes from Germany, or a Black man that comes from Australia, doesn't have the same origins of that, so they can't feel the pain of that. But however, you can be empathetic to understand pain of hardship, but you just can't connect to it. You have your own past and you have your own origins, you have your own history. And if we knew more about our world significance and our imprint all over the world, maybe we'd be a lot more tolerant of one another, man. I love the diaspora. I love the diaspora. So
Trevor Noah was making fun of people, man. If he's watching Trevor Noah, man, that ain't right. He says he loves the people from Trinidad, how they actually talk and it sounds like they're singing at the same time. With the accent.
Isn't Trevor Noah the same one he was raised within 3 different languages? It was the clicking in one language. It was the clicking in one language and then the Bantu language in the other, and he would be confused all the time. I was like, well, even still, you're still armed with many languages. So I'm like, it don't matter.
Yeah, he's South African, you walk around South Africa and you sound like you're freaking from Britain or Australia. So South Africa, I don't want to hear you talking about it again. You sound more like an Australian,
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a certain dialect you can you know it. You sound either South African sounds a lot like Australian New Zealanders.
Correct, exactly.
And you can hear it, and sometimes you can tell which one it is. Depends on what it is.
You gotta listen closely. You have to listen closely.
Yep.
You have to pay attention.
Yeah.
It's like the Canadians, when they come on, hey man, hey, it's like they have that drawback to it.
Yeah. Just like how when you're talking to someone from Panama, a lot of Panamanians, you'll speak in like, well, you must be Jamaican. because of
Hmm.
the things. They're like, no, you're from Panama. You know, they speak Spanish and they speak in the same accent and dialect in Spanish. You're not understanding, but it's cool. It's curious, but it's in cool. But watching that one movie with the Indian influence, I was like, generation. I was telling my wife yesterday. I said, see, I was looking at the one actress, and to me, she looked like she's from Trinidad. I've been around enough people from Trinidad where I can see the Indo-African look, you know, when the melting of the families from India and Africa. But anybody historically understands that Indians, a lot of their origins are from Africa anyway. So the complexions and the mixes, but some things you can tell.
The Indians are intertwined with the Africans. That's what
Yeah,
really boils down to. You know, you go
yeah,
down to Trinidad, you know, you have, you know, a father being black, you know, and a mother being Indian or vice versa. So
yeah,
they're intertwined. And not to mention, you know, during the slave trade many years ago, when, you know, all the slaves were taken away from all the continent of Africa, they actually took Indians to take their place. That's the reason why you have so many Indians in South Africa.
yeah.
And
What was the term? Coolie?
they're being discriminated against over there.
Yeah. What was the term in Trinidad? I heard coolie. Was that the term?
That's it right there. It's a derogatory word. Is the equivalent to the N word up here.
Right, right. That was the discussion that I was like, wow, and it was sad, man. Um, I just
But
think,
the word coolie also derives from the Chinese. That's where it really came from. It's like
yeah,
Chinese, you know, people who are downtrodden in China, more like, you know, on the very bottom, they call them coolies. They're working hard individuals,
mhm,
you know, so they call them coolies in China.
yeah,
So they were from China and then migrated down to the, you know, Caribbean islands.
right. Like I remember the term kata. Kata was used as a derogatory form for Africans from Congo. Congo, um, the Ivory Coast in that area, they would come here and speak about African Americans and they call them katas, katas, and it was a derogatory term because they said we're cotton pickers. So that
Hmm.
was a derogatory term, and it's a shame how every region of the world has derogatory terms for people who may not be from that area.
Amen. Amen. Yes. Everywhere you go. There was
Everywhere
a
you,
documentary that I watched on that. Everywhere you go around the world, you end up with some type of discrimination, one way or
yep,
another. But in the
yep,
United States, it's more heightened than other
yeah,
places.
yeah, it is, man. It's
You
sad.
know, like the George Floyd situation that's going on right now, that's being
Ah,
the BBC and all other stations all around the world.
yeah. The Chauvin case, it's really
Yeah.
exposing. I mean, people are watching it, you know, and they're getting emotionally involved. And I keep thinking to myself, folks, we've seen this before. You know, we can look at the details, but we've seen it before. You know how this prosecution and the defense are gonna place things and expect it. And it's sad that they have to. They're making it public for the nation to look at. So I don't know if that was a tool thinking that America is advanced enough that we won't be emotionally involved, or is it a tool to hope that we become emotionally involved and stir some shit up later on? Because
It, it reminded me of the Rodney King. Remember many
yeah,
years ago, Rodney King, and then you had the OJ after the Rodney King, and now you have, you know, it's
every
like, yeah,
you notice every big case when it's talking about race related, it's always been televised. But other
yeah.
things
It
when
seems
it's
like it comes up like every decade or so, you end up having a big case or something like this.
yep, yep, it's generational, man. It's same generation
Yeah,
thing.
because you know when I
I'm
was
I'm
watching
I'm
OJ
so
stuff,
disturbed at the fact.
go ahead,
No,
mom.
I'm sorry. It's that delay again. I was going to say
Yeah,
what you know. What's is taking me aback is how it's like they're prosecuting George Floyd again. They're like
yeah,
coming at the character, talking to him. They're doing every chance they get. And I kept thinking, I know I've had many conversations with police officers trying to justify what they do with others, and I keep saying this. I keep hearing the same shit. They're trying to justify a murder. They're trying to justify, and it's sad
right.
how this man's
Yeah,
character man is no longer alive, and they're trying to
uh,
defame, discredit him and everyone around him, his character. It doesn't matter what he took in his body. The fact that someone thought it was okay to apply pressure that was deadly to the point that it was, you know, it went from being, what was it, 8:49 to being over now 10 minutes. Come on, man. But you were
that's
saying,
murder, broad daylight. That's murder in broad daylight. Murder
Exactly.
under any circumstances is still the same. Arose by any other name is still the same. It's murder. That's the bottom line.
Exactly.
There's no form of justification for that.
Exactly. Did you see the today his police chief Chauvin's police chief actually admitted saying that was excessive force. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, if his commanding officer says excessive force.
He just threw your ass under the bus. There's no doubt about it. Heave ho.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
if you look at it, if they let justice fall where it's been before, and he ends up being emancipated from this whole thing, or
Acquitted.
Acquitted out the situation. You imagine the unrest that happens.
Ooh.
It's just bad, man.
Let's not go there. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember during the Rodney King era, with that situation, the whole damn entire country was standing still waiting for that particular verdict. And once that verdict happened, it was like, powder keg just exploded. Everybody went buck wild, crazy. You remember Reginald Denny when he was actually beaten in the street, dragged out of his truck and the whole 9 yards, in California? It was crazy.
Yeah, that was so hard. I felt so bad for that truck driver. Oh,
yeah, Reginald Denny.
Yep. Yeah, Reginald Denny. Yep. But and that's what I'm seeing. I'm thinking, how things are cyclical. Things happen in cycles, and like every 20 years you'll relive some circumstance or something. I don't know. Is this how the energy of the earth is pushing this together to happen again? I'm like, man, I don't know. Given this situation with the pandemic and everything, shit can get wild crazy if it goes wrong. I mean, we're already having, record amounts of people registering for guns, owning guns. I mean, gun sales are going off the charts, whether it was during the time of Trump or it's post-Trump. I just said earlier, what was the number? It was crazy. I was looking at reports. It was 104 shootings, mass shootings in 29 states in the United States just this year. Wow. 104. It's like, what the fuck, man?
You check that out in Philly? I mean, they can't even throw that up in Philly, man. I'm telling you. And not to mention, talking about carjacking. These jokers are back to carjackings again. So far, the past week, they've had 5 carjackings.
What was the horrendous one? The little kid, the girls, 14 years old, that end up killing the guy? I said, yo, that was the shit. 14 years old. They're bored. They go down and try to steal an Uber. I said, yo, what the fuck is wrong with these kids?
Whatever happened to the rec centers or the basketball games, and roller skating, all that kind of fancy stuff? But they can't do it in the pandemic, I mean, they're really bored. And it's not like they got to go to school in the morning.
I know. They figure since we got to go to school, I'm going to go to school in a new car, right? What kind of shit is that?
You had to go to school in a new car. You just circle the block with your boys,
Oh my god! Exactly.
It's off the hook.
Yeah. Renee just came on, and I was trying to decipher what she was saying. She says, "Where are the IR police officers that stood by and let it happen?" Maybe she's saying other. I think it was other. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the question too, because in the Chauvin case, the other officer, I think, was an Asian American that was standing next to him at that time and did not execute anything to try to stop him or prevent him. I think there was some words being said, and that was it. I think that's the ongoing case. How many in society? How many of them are equally at fault too?
Yeah, very complacent. Very complacent. It's like that black guy that actually killed his mama walking down the street and kicked the Asian lady down to the ground. The security guards inside the building actually closed the door when that started happening. Dude, what's the matter with you? You got issues.
37 years old. 37 years old. Everett, something Everett.
And any fool that killed his mama, man, I'm telling you, you crazy as hell. Because back in the day, everybody was, you talk about my mama, I won't kill you. But you don't kill your mama.
And exactly. And you know what? And I also blame because it seems like New York allowed that facility to be available and open in a mass crowded area. It's right near Times Square. I think that was right off of not too far from Times Square. That's where that building was. I said, how the hell do you leave it there when there's mass populations of people? A homeless shelter that turned into a homeless shelter. It's so hard, man. But that really broke my heart. She's 65 years old. I know. Asian woman. And
that dude needed to be beaten to a pulp. You know what I'm saying? He needs to be beaten to a pulp.
He's a big pussy. for big. He wasn't a small guy.
He wasn't a small guy, but it doesn't. But like I said, back in the day, somebody would have beat him with a trash can, and that's where that's the bottom line. He wasn't a small dude, granted, yeah. But come on, the lady was coming up to his shoulder. How much of a threat was this lady? And she put her in a hospital with pelvic damage.
Yep, it's so sad, man. It's that's what I said. I'm not as scared. I don't think I've ever been scared, really, except in my own neighborhoods, and it's sad because I know the degree of violence that could take place. You know what I'm saying? But I can only imagine how fear is running rampant in older Asian people. And it's sad that they got to go through that, man. It really is. Hey, Laurel, in the dark.
Good evening. How are you guys today?
Hey, what's going on? That sounds like Laurel. Yeah. She started looking like Mike out there coming in out of the dark.
I'm driving.
We can see the cars in the background, Laurel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we see the cars in the background, the tail lights.
Let me guess, you're coming from somewhere eating a nice meal, right?
No, I haven't eaten yet. Well, kind of. We had salad at work. We had a meeting, and she ordered a chicken Caesar salad, but I haven't eaten that yet. I haven't eaten yet.
Okay, because we're waiting for an invite to go eat.
Okay. That was the close. That was, I want something to eat. I don't feel like cooking. It's a nice day. Where am I going? So it was either Cove or Back Bay, and I wound up at Cove. So
yeah, they look good. It is.
It's very good.
Restaurants for us, Laurel. Check out the restaurants and let us know whether or not it's worth going to. That'd be pretty good.
I can definitely tell you. I can definitely tell you.
Yeah,
I stumbled onto a restaurant last week. I don't know if you guys are interested. A Mexican restaurant called the Azteca Plaza.
It must have been good because you went twice.
Oh, hell yes. Yeah. I went on the phone with my son last week and we stumbled onto it because I wanted something a little lighter and something more healthy. And then the other day, my wife was going to take me from someplace for my birthday that was a little more foofy. I thought in mind, she wanted steaks and
foofy?
Foofy. A little it required more of you. You can't come in sweatpants and something like that without somebody looking at you crazy. I'm like, look, I'm not in the mood for that bullshit. Give me something I can eat and go on. So I was like, let me just stop that. It was on the way anyway.
Well, happy birthday, belated birthday. I know I wish your birthday on the day, but at least to be honest.
Thank you. I'm now officially older.
Older? Nothing wrong with getting older. Better than dying young. How many of those people, 500,000 people, wish they could get older?
I hear you. I don't have a problem with being older. I tell everybody, respect the gray. I wear mine with proud.
Wear it well. That's what I say.
That's it. Even though you still got to maintain that baby face of yours, you barely you can't tell. What'd you say, Lord? Right?
No, I'm coming down all together. I got a Pennsylvania tag and a Florida tag. Neither one of them know where they're going.
Yeah, just don't get into a car accident.
I'm not, but I'm like, make a decision. No, the light turned yellow on me. I'm in the middle of the intersection.
Road rage doesn't work well. Especially when we're recording. Broadcasting live, road rage doesn't look good.
Move. Don't get behind
It's the road rage.
Something happened. You have like quite a lot of.
You don't know where you're going. Get out of the way. At least don't be in the passenger lane. Move over.
We're so
get out of my way. You know where I'm going.
I get like that. My wife goes on, like, they don't rush getting there. I said it is for me. I want to get home or where I want to go to. I'm not out on a Sunday drive just riding around because I'm driving shit. It's
they gonna make me pump that old Ludacris.
Oh, move! Yep, that's crazy. So, as you can see, I had this in mind because I knew it was going to be some hot topics and some cold down. So everything's fire and ice over here. So that's the background that I showed for this week. It was like that's intrinsically us.
Fire and ice.
I missed that. What happened?
The fire and ice. I made sure that I had a different background to show
Oh, okay, I see it now. It's behind the. I see it.
Yeah.
So I got the Pfizer shot. I only got it because I plan on taking a trip in August. So
Okay.
I got the Pfizer shot. When I tell you that first night, like I got it Sunday morning. Sunday night, I could not move my arm. One, because, of course, I slept on it. I rolled over on that side, and that's where, I sleep on my left side. Two, I just couldn't lift my arm at all. I had no range of motion whatsoever. My elbow can bend this way, but I had nothing, up and down, nothing. The next day...
You can move which way? Just checking. I couldn't tell. Look like he's playing slot machine. Okay.
Yeah. So, but the next day it was still sore, but I could move it. And then by Wednesday I was good. But Tuesday I had like a little low grade fever. So I couldn't go to work. I had a low fever. They said, "Oh, you don't get fevers." Well, I did. I had a low grade fever.
Yeah, they do. They say take 2 Tylenol for that though.
Everybody's
that's what they say.
Their symptoms are a little different. Everybody goes through some side effects.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad yours is light in comparison, man.
Well, that was the first shot. I can't imagine what the second one. What happened with the second one?
Well, the second one is just the booster shot. The primary one is the first one.
Yeah, the first one seems to be the one that you have to adapt them to.
Trying to adapt to it, yeah. The second one is just like a shield.
Yeah.
And even now I have a little runny nose. Like, seriously?
Oh.
I feel like a little kid looking for tissue all the time.
Hey, just let it run.
Ew.
People
that kid in Martin. Remember that little kid in Martin? That was had his nose running?
People will leave you alone. Trust me. You be at work with a runny nose.
I have a mask on. They can't see it anyway.
Yeah, that'd be nasty. Pulled up and anyway. That's nasty. Yeah, Renee said she had none of it. I'm like, wow, you got blessed with it.
Yeah, I got lucky. Well, I can't even get the flu shot. So I was just praying that I wouldn't get like sick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I was dead set against this, but I done paid for the trip, so gotta have it.
Where you going?
Barbados.
Barbados, okay.
Barbados, land of the flying fish.
It's a place I've never been, so
it's beautiful. You'll love it. Yeah, that's not far from Trinity.
Oh, okay.
Let me hit y'all back in a few minutes. I need to take the stuff in the house.
You got it. Okay.
All right.
I know my wife and I was talking about a second trip. Like we're slowly going to embark on a little journey for not too far, but we're going to go on a real trip sometime before the end of the year. And I'm just listening to the conversations. It said, whatever trips you think you're going to make within at least the next year, it's time to make the trips now because the prices will be doubling soon.
Yes, it will.
The cost of everything. The cost of everything is going to shoot up like crazy. I'm like, well, shit.
Get it in.
Well, I'm like, yo, if you talking about going to Florida, I'm like, yo, let's expand. Let's go to London. Let's go over there. That type of deal. So,
you heard about the vaccine passports too? What's happening? Have you been following that?
Yeah, I got a passport.
Yeah.
I went and made sure 2 years ago. I went and got a passport. So we have our passport and passport card. And it was right before they did the international driver's license star, that traveler star. I was like, damn, I want that one. But then I found out later on, when you have a passport, it actually fills in like a temporary license. You can drive all over the world as long as you have a passport. I'm like,
but this is what I'm talking about. When I said the vaccine passport, meaning you're going to inoculate it before you could even travel to certain places, because they won't actually, just like Laurel, she wants to go to Barbados, so they're not going to let her in. They say if you get the vaccine passport, you won't have to bother about quarantining once you get to that location. So it will just eliminate that. So they say if you get the vaccine or whatever the case may be, the card that the CDC actually gives to you, whatever the case may be, keep it with you, get it laminated, because you're going to need to flash it. Even down in Florida right now, some of the games, you can't attend any of the games unless you've been vaccinated. So they have a big sign saying all the vaccinated individuals come through here. If you're not vaccinated, they will not let you in the stadium.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Adrian. You said the vaccine passport. If you already have your passport, If you already have your passport and you haven't been vaccinated, or you later get vaccinated, what do? They just give you a separate card,
You get a
or
stamp.
what? Oh, they stamp it?
You get a stamp. Like all passports have stamps.
Well, it's mandatory. It's going because the airlines are actually saying they want everybody vaccinated before they could actually fly. So they're heading in that direction. I brought this to a lot of people's attention about a few months ago because I saw this coming. So in order for you to travel overseas or whatever, you're going to have it's mandatory that you're going to have to be vaccinated.
Right,
You
but
know,
I'm
whether
saying,
it's Moderna or whatever the case may be.
so what do they do? Stamp it?
No, you have the regular passport that they will stamp your passport, but you're going to need the card that you was inoculated. So you need those two pieces of documents. If you
Okay.
got to go anywhere. Yeah. So it prevents you also from actually once you get to that location having to quarantine for 14 days. So you won't
Exactly.
have to think about that. You know,
It,
but you still
it,
gonna have to
it's,
wear your mask and still social distance, but it's just that you won't have to bother about, you know, being content, getting sick or anything like that. So it would
right.
get rid of that variation.
Right.
It's definitely coming. So
It's coming. It's going to be here. There's no, I mean, the Republicans, a large group of Republicans are actually saying that they're not going to take the vaccine whatsoever. But you don't want to fall into the class of these jokers because they're a bunch of idiots. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, exactly.
A lot of those guys that follow Trump, it was like a cult. A lot of these people are still not saying they're not going to take it. So
Right.
that's the reason why we have such an explosion right now all across the country with nothing but a high rate of infection because they have 6 different variants. We only started off with 3 variants. Now there's 6 of them. So
Mhm.
that's something to be worried about.
Yeah.
Okay, you got COVID, but then you got COVID younger brothers, is what I call them, the variants.
Yeah.
That's too many siblings for me.
Yeah.
Very true. Renee,
So
come on.
um, you
Renee
know,
just asked, can she come on in a minute? Yeah, come on in. Come on
It
in.
is definitely
I tell a
coming.
lot of people because even my girl is like, it's your right, it's your life. You be the
Right.
judge to make the
Exactly.
decision if you want to take it or not. Because
That's
at
Right.
the end of the day, you're gonna end up with a hospital bill, whatever the case may be. Not me. So it's your life, it's your right. Do
Right.
yeah.
do the right thing. That's all I want to say. Whatever it is.
What we've all be done is always trying to make sure that people are informed. That's all. You have to
Yeah.
make an
Yeah,
educated decision.
I came up with that thing. It's your life, it's your rights. You do the right thing. Be the judge.
Mhm.
'Cause you
Well, I know there's a lot of discussion going on. Renee had just Renee Brown just mentioned she might be coming on in a few minutes.
Mhm.
She was talking about how they're giving out a card. It's a vaccine card. They said, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, if you lose it, they won't replace it. I'm like, that
Oh.
kind of sucks.
that's
Um,
Staples, and the other big store like Staples. I can't remember. But they
CVS?
were asking for
They are giving out a card.
the depot. It's like Office Depot. They were actually laminating those cards for free. But you could go to Staples or anywhere and get a card laminated and put it in a safe place.
Sorry. You're right. My girlfriend did just get the vaccine card because her
Correct.
son, in order for her son to go back to school after spring break, he must be vaccinated, and that's for
Exactly.
college.
Rutgers did that too. Rutgers made it mandatory that you're not stepping foot on our campus until you're vaccinated.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes. So I have seen that vaccine card. I have.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? I'm trying to give you the microphone so you stop being all loud in my ear.
Sorry.
She had questions. There's nothing wrong with that. They were pertinent questions. But that
Um,
vaccine card is definitely something to actually keep in a safe place and get it laminated and pocketed, whatever the case may be.
well,
You know,
I mean,
and
ultimately,
you can travel around the world like you were saying before, but keep your distance. Wear your mask.
oh yeah. I mean, either which way, it's like I said before, the vaccine is one thing, but it doesn't stop you from getting sick. You can still get sick. It won't just kill you all
The
of a sudden.
hospitalization. Yeah.
Well,
Am I on?
welcome to the show, Renee. What's going on?
Again?
Yeah, you're on. How you doing?
I wanted to say today, I'm good. Thank you. Happy birthday. Because I
Thank
was late. I saw it late. I'm sorry. But happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed your day.
I'm alive.
I
So
was
that's
watching, reading and the news today and from the CDC. And now they're saying that the vaccine actually keeps you from getting it. So if you have the vaccine,
Correct.
you won't give it to somebody else. The longer that people have it, they're doing studies on people who got it way back in uh last December or something.
Wow,
And
that's big.
yeah, they're saying that if you are fully vaccinated, like it's 2 shots. If you have both your shots,
Mhm.
that it's keeping people from actually getting the virus, which is good because that means they can't spread the virus.
That's something. If that's in essence what happens, that's something big, man.
Yeah, that's what I read today. And also they're Johnson and Johnson, and there's I think like 3 other companies that are now going to vaccine children.
Children,
yeah, I saw that. They said 12 to 15.
Which is good. I'm so happy that they're doing that because a lot of if 16 and under wasn't able to get vaccinated. Our school only goes up to age 13. So, but and they're the kids are coming.
Yeah,
They're coming back right after the holiday.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so
Well,
but
you
I
know
wanted
what?
to share that with you. And they also said they did that through the studies they found out that the vaccines are actually working a lot better than they had originally thought. They're working a lot better than they had originally thought.
I truly hope so. I really hope so.
So
Like I
yeah,
said,
I'll get my next one in 3 days.
Mhm.
I get my second shot. But
Did you-
almost our entire staff has had it. There's been no incidents at all.
That's
So, and anybody else that I talked to never had any. I mean, one person said they got the sweats, but they took a couple Tylenol. They was cool.
yeah.
After the second shot, some people didn't get any. Most people I talked to didn't get anything. After my first one, I had a really low,
Uh-huh.
but I felt beat up. So I took 2 Tylenol. I took 8-hour Tylenol. I took 2 of them, and in 30 minutes I was back to myself.
Renee back
So
together, huh?
I'm
strong.
I'm trying to encourage people to get it now because in the beginning I was one of those people who was totally against the vaccine. Like I refused. I wasn't getting it. You couldn't make me get it. That's why I was doubling up on my mask long before they came up with that idea. Everywhere I go, I got a bag. It has bleach in it, and wipes, and gloves. And even the doctor's office. I can't hear y'all. But I thought that was really good news. Really good news. Now the place that is spreading the fastest right now is Florida.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
also Michigan.
Yeah. Have you seen the videos?
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos?
Well, and a lot of people still are vaccinated.
Well, and besides that, there's all the spring breakers.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. And they went early.
What was it? Las Vegas, the river, Sioux City, whatever that big lake is, the wild whatever. Get the lake. That whole region, and in Michigan, in Michigan because all the universities, all the kids that left Florida going back, and infecting their
here they come. Here they come, like it or not. Here they come.
Yeah. I mean, it's a trip because I was watching. I was curious. First off, I miss being in warm climate. You know what I'm saying? And we would go every year to Disney World and just enjoy ourselves, whatever situation. It was a happy place. So every once in a while, I watch these POV videos. People showing how the video is in this way. In Miami, I'm always curious of how people are acting up right now. You look at it, people walk around with no. I mean, they were like really rampant rebel, drinking, smoking. I'm like, I wish I would see my son. I would drive down there, whoop that ass, and snatch him back up. Been vaccinated for a while.
Inhale, exhale.
It was just wild. You saw. I mean, it was inevitable. You was hopeful that people did get sick, but it was inevitable.
Hey Mo, have you ever thought it could be a conspiracy with those kids that they want to get their parents' inheritance ahead of time, so if they get the parents sick and kill them, they actually enter the money early? Imagine that. There was a conspiracy theory for you. Kill mom and dad early, and you got the fortune. You get the gold.
You got a book, Adrian. You might have a damn good horror book going on, man. This drama book. Netflix next year, man.
Because it could be a conspiracy theory there involved.
It could be. I mean, anytime like the Menendez brothers, remember the Menendez brothers?
Exactly. That's the reason why I said it. Yeah.
Them fools. I see, that was some stupid shit. But it just
another thing, Mo, I wanted to tell y'all was that when you get vaccinated, they give you card, and they
Yeah, that's
write the
what I
date when you were vaccinated and everything. But don't put that light on because I look crazy. I was in the bed. Um, it's a bigger card. It doesn't really fit like where your credit cards would fit or something like that. It's bigger than that card.
Is
It's a
it?
bigger size. So after I get my second shot, I'm getting mine laminated. They said because you
yeah,
can't lose it.
exactly.
If you lose it, you can't replace it.
Yeah,
Wow.
go to Staples.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it laminated.
Yeah.
I can see you now. If I get something like that, when I finally do get vaccinated, I'll probably have it tattooed on my neck or something. Be like, hey, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I ain't losing
I don't
that.
think that's gonna count.
You know,
Like, I
hey
ain't
Mo,
trying to
maybe
lose
we
that.
could- hey Mo, this is what they need to do: put a chip underneath your skin like they do the cows, and then
Oh
you
man,
can
there you go. I ain't messing with the shit.
just
Isn't
scan
that
it.
what we were talking about in the beginning? The vaccine they would put chips.
You have a
Who's to say that
barcode.
we don't have it already? Walk
If you
through
have
the middle of Texas. You figure out if this beeping, you know you got that already. Just tell them to upgrade you.
Yeah, you have a barcode. Scan my barcode. It's on the back of my hand.
Yo, funny as hell, but I really thought about getting my data on a barcode. So if
Just
something
go
ever happens to
to
me, somebody can scan it and then
look.
scan it too.
Either Elon Musk or Bill Gates or one of these guys gonna figure it out, and they're gonna come up with something like that. Just give it time.
Oh, they got it already. I got it already. Like barcodes and everything. Like I said, I was actually thinking of getting a barcode tattoo.
They're gonna start putting it in humans with the underneath your skin or whatever the case may be. Give it
Well,
time.
I'm not doing. I ain't getting no chips and nothing in me now. That's out.
No chip, hey Renee, other than potato chips, huh?
Not.
Uh-huh.
Not.
Yep. Remember he sent it a phone. I mean, if people you see it on film, it's already happened. It's already been executed somehow.
A lot of these craziness is coming. It's like Bitcoin, so that's going to be coming down the pike. That's the inevitable. You know, the vaccine is going to be the inevitable. The chips that some crazy person going to come up. This one guy have already done it. He's implanted a chip underneath his skin already. It's already been done. I saw it on the news.
I'm like, I
will
don't know
never
about
do
you.
it.
I'm gonna avoid all that
so
shit. I don't. Did anybody see King Kong versus Godzilla?
No.
Nah.
I was about to say in the movie there was a portion and I kept saying that's the shit Elon Musk was talking about. The underground super traveling centers. Like he was trying to develop this subterranean train using this hyperspeed. It was showing that shit. I was like, that's Elon Musk discussion. I said that's the stuff we're talking about.
Guess who's building that, Mo? Guess who's building it? Because they're working on it running from San Francisco to LA. So
China.
yeah, they're working on it. It's a tube that you get inside a tube and it shoots you all the way to the other side in hyperspeed.
China.
So yeah, the owner of PayPal, he's the one that actually fronting a lot of money on this project.
What's his name? Mao? Ben Mao or something like that? Ben Mao?
He's the one that and now that Biden is talking about in transportation, he's going to be like Flynn because Biden is going to back this stuff to actually give it hyperspeed transportation from San Francisco to LA in like 20, 25, 30 minutes.
You know what's crazy? He has a person here locally that was trying to get some leeway into city government because he wanted to connect a train, a hyperspeed train, Jersey, all up and down the East Coast using one of the anchor like exits in Atlantic City. I was like, yo, come talk to me. He never reached out to me. And I found out after the fact it was part of that major thing. Like they want to connect the world through trains, subterranean trains. I'm like, whatever it is, as long as we don't blow shit up, I'm with it. Let's go. Let's travel.
But get a load of this.
Well, China does a lot, and they're really, really popped off with transportation. They're way ahead of us.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, China, Japan. You know, it's called the maglev, the magnetic levitational train.
Anytime
is what
you
it is.
take a train, maglev.
Yeah, it's called maglev.
The supersonic maglev that he just got.
Guess who's the inventor? The inventor actually, huh?
But you know what's cool? You don't see too many accidents on those super maglevs.
No, not at all. No. The pathway is so fast they don't put it anywhere near, public transportation, nowhere near where bus or cars or whatever will cross. But the maglev was the inventor of the maglev. He's an American, actually invented it, but they would not give him a patent, so he took it to Germany. And Germany actually got a hold of it, and then Japan and China. America never caught on to that. We still have these old-fashioned trains on tracks. It's called a magnetic levitation. There's two magnets pushing one, with electricity that actually lifts it up.
Man, there is the show.
There's a bill for infrastructure.
Well, you saw it. They're trying to put a serious blockade on it. $2.1 trillion for infrastructure. Shit, that should have been happened.
And they won't pass anything where they have to pay their fair share of taxes.
Yep. They want to block that because big energy, because of all that stuff. Then if you have
for those things in that HR1, that new bill.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the one that's the biggest thing now. Infrastructure is one of the things that hasn't been part of the discussion since the last time they had an infrastructure thing, which was the green bill. The first time the actual New Deal. When the New Deal came about, that was the last time infrastructure was part of the national government plan, the New Deal. That's why they. Yep. That's why Republicans are coming at AOC.
But the thing about it, let's go back in history for a little bit, because what happened, is FDR actually worked on, transportation and, building the infrastructure as far as transportation, because a lot of the pipes underground, they're old. These things been around longer than I have, over 50 plus years old. So a lot of these things are going to be rupturing like crazy, like you see in Philadelphia, and other cities. So the bottom line, they have to work on that infrastructure, because that's what actually brought this country out of the Great Depression also, was investing in the infrastructure and building roads and tunnels and all of those type of things.
Think about
they need to be
looking back in history.
Think about history. You talked about it right there.
So we're not so dependent on other countries.
That's the whole thing about it. We for us to be so far behind in the infrastructure wise means that we have to stay dependent on these big companies and corporations to give us things that would naturally be ready for us to do so. Transportation infrastructure is one of the biggest proponents for the other sources of transportation. Say if we have a high maglev situation, then that we don't necessarily need as many vehicles transporting goods back and forth. The trains can do it for us.
Exactly.
In addition to the maglev system works with fiber optics, so you have technology. That means you don't have to have subterranean tunnels for a lot of the information goes on. You can just tap onto the trains themselves to let data travel back and forth. So that eliminates that. So you have so many different links that help us to move forward, but it would just cut the strings of people that are making us money. I've watched there's a TV show that says How America Was Built, and it's crazy because it talked about businesses in this way, right? And the two businesses that I didn't even think about, DuPont, I think it was DuPont was one of them, and then the other one was I forget what, it was about two different companies. And the rail system was only created to help kill somebody else's business. There was no reason why the rail system was created other than to kill someone else's business. I was like, greed created a transportation system that America benefited from for so many decades. It's crazy. If people knew the truth, it was greed. I wish it was a while ago I read it and I was kept in mind. I watched the show, but it was How America Was Built. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? DuPont and so on and so forth. And they were just dirty. They played dirty. I mean, dirty.
But look at another. Yeah, exactly, Renee. They always look at Walmart. Walmart kills so many mom and pop businesses on the rail.
Yeah, they do.
They wiped them off the planet. A lot of the mom and pop businesses.
Yeah, I went in that EHT Walmart. Never again. I went in there. They had, I think, all they had was those scan and go lines, the cigarette line, which is 10.
I just left out of there. Sis, I understand your pain.
You shop for 30 minutes and you stand in line for 2.5 hours.
Right. Because I got there around 6:30. When I signed in, that's when I got back in my car. After standing in line
no, they
for
trying
25
to
minutes.
force people to use plastic. So I'm just not going to go there. I'm not going to spend my money there. I mean, they'll take your money, but you have to stand in line forever. Even the scan and go line is really long now.
Ridiculously long.
It's a shame how dependent I am of Walmart. It really is a shame.
You and me both.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
But I'll travel for a bargain. I'll go to different places. I'll find other locations here and there. Like we'll go to Mays Landing a lot to the Walmart Maze Landing because there's other things that we get in that area. So
I go all the way to Monroe Township. It's just so I don't have to wait in those lines.
For Walmart.
But I'm saying you driving an extra 15 minutes, or you gonna stay in line for 20 minutes? I'd rather drive the extra 15 minutes.
I'm in and out. I go to ShopRite and I'm in and out.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it depends on what you want.
Depending on what you're looking for.
Not only do I go there for the goods, I go there because it gives me exercise. Because I travel, hit all the lanes.
Yeah, it's very big. Well, it's good for one time. You get everything.
It's part of it.
But they're killing it. They're killing it.
Yeah, it's crazy though. But you walk up in there, I swear, they have all these huge lines, and there's nothing on the shelves.
Nothing on the shelves. They're always empty.
I'm like, we're not in this situation anymore. But you see tons of stuff in the mid aisles ready to be stocked up and put on the shelves. Yep. They never get on the shelves, or if they do, it must be like a fire sale at midnight, and people come in. 100,000 people at one time come in because there's
no. They laid off
no cashiers.
A huge amount of people. They laid off a huge amount of people, and people that were working the registers are outside collecting carts, and they laid off a lot of people because they're not going to use them. They're going to open those scan and go lines. They're trying to force you not to use cash, and I don't like that. So I won't be going there.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't like them.
The cash factor.
After the proposal of them having to pay people $15 an hour, all of a sudden they're like, all right, you want to do that? No problem. We'll eliminate you real quick.
Yeah.
Nah, that's all about the big
one time. There's no more competition these days when it comes down to shopping. Because you have either Walmart, remember there used to be a Sears at one, Sears is gone. You know, so you're only left with Walmart. You know, a lot of the malls, look at Hamilton Mall. They can't even keep the lights on at Hamilton Mall. They have a problem with that.
That was crazy. Hamilton Mall. Yeah, well, you saw the document on the wall going in. You know that they don't have to. You know that they didn't pay, and all of a sudden they're letting everybody know. Oh, it's okay. You ain't got to worry about that. You go in there shopping and try. It's not like a handful of stores left in Hamilton Mall in the first place. I mean, it's so. It's gone. It's nothing there anymore.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, it's done. It's a wrap.
All the stores are gone. Just like they left the Shore Mall, they left them over there. And they doing those little strip malls on the highway.
Everybody's shopping online.
Yeah. And that's
well,
the biggest
pandemic. I get it, but not for keeps. I like to try my clothes on, and it's too much trouble to order something. It doesn't fit. You have to send it back and wait for them to send you something back. That's too much time. Too time consuming.
I know.
Yeah, I order from the same brand. It's usually Old Navy. Those brands I know that I wear well. Old Navy. You know, I order items from Zulily. I order items from. That's about it.
Guys, my side, they have too many options. So
it's according to what you're looking for, though.
Yeah, because I don't dress that way all the time. I mean, I'm a lot in jeans and t-shirts.
I wear a uniform. If I'm not in uniform, I'm in jeans.
Y'all ladies,
I like to dress every now and then. I'm still a lady. I like to put on my heels and wear some good clothes. You can't find a pair of pants that have lining in them or a skirt with a lining in it. You know, I like to dress like that.
Okay.
I like to
don't go nowhere like that right now. So
it is. It's hard to find.
Walmart is one size fits all, right, Renee?
Huh?
I said Walmart is one size fits all. That's how their clothes are. You know, one size
that's not right.
all.
To get clothes and run around and run the Walmart clothes, that's fine. But sometimes I want to go out and I want to look nice when I go.
Right. You should have some options. Right. You should have some options. We don't have the type of options that we once was before. And half the time, we're talking about universal economics, one of the things I was talking about before. You know, us locally, we had problems. We created an issue within ourselves because we were always going to other locations to go shopping. So that means our money left this area and went somewhere else. Like we go to Philadelphia, New York, DC, we got to go shopping there. You can find similar shit, if not the same exact shit locally. We just chose not to. So that took money. Now,
you used to be able to, but you can't anymore. That's what I was saying. Like when Annie said was in Shore Mall, they had beautiful clothes and that really lambskin leather jackets and stuff like that. And then when they moved out to that strip mall over there, everything was hip hop. I was like, this is not what I'm looking. I was looking for suits, and I couldn't. I was like, let me just leave the store.
Yeah, because
And
they used to
everything
have a H&G or what was it?
H&M.
No. At the Shore Mall, it was H&G.
I know you're
What was
talking
it?
about.
But now that's in Deptford.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not going all the way to Deptford.
There's two of them. That was, you know what? And it's certain types of clothes. It's going to be hard for you to find anyway in this area. K&G, right? K&G. Yep.
You're not going to be able to find them. I can tell you that now because I've been looking.
Suits you should be back in the day. You can find them at Sears, JCPenney. You can find them high end, a little bit more expensive at Macy's. You can go to different locations in the same mall. Now you got to order them or go somewhere far away where there's larger options, so on and so forth, because they're not available. We have it harder, man. Now, when you're looking for shoes, you can't even find leather anymore.
Oh, please.
Everything is mesh.
Everything's vegan. I'm like, it ain't no damn vegan. Leather lasts forever. You got a good pair of shoes you can wear for 20, 30 years.
And they doing this thing now where they putting sneaker soles on the bottom of dress shoes. Oh my God, you talking about a turnoff.
Yeah.
Because either you're going to wear a sneaker or you're going to wear a shoe. Just make up your mind.
Yeah, that's how they making it.
Yeah.
That's what the Cole Haan. I think Cole Haan does that.
Yep. A lot of high-end shoes.
What about that guy that came out with those devil shoes that I saw? What's the deal with that? Have you seen that?
Little Nas.
What's the deal with that? I want to know what's up with this devil shoe type of thing that Nike actually putting over against. This guy said there's a drop of blood from the devil on these sneakers.
What's that, Little Nas?
Yeah, Little Nas X.
Who?
Little Nas X. You know, Old Town Road, the guy who did the Old Town Road, trying to be country western type guy. There's some guy who sang a song, was trying to get some attention and got it. I don't know. But
what, $1,000 for a pair of sneakers?
Yeah,
$1,500.
and people are now they're waiting for these sneakers. It's on hold because whatever.
Can it drive me? Can it walk itself?
They can't even
That's
get
why they don't have anything.
From what I was told, from what I read, they had 666. That's the exact number of shoes they made available for sale. They said within 1 minute's time, they sold out. Each pair of shoes was $1,500. Right?
These people are crazy.
Meanwhile, the kids are hungry. The kids are hungry and their lights are being shut off.
No, it's not nice.
That's the same mentality these people have that living in these projects and stuff. One way in and one way out, no back door, no yard for the kids to play in, but they got $50,000 SUVs sitting in front of them.
Yo, again, that's society today. You put value in stupid shit. Sneakers, $1,500. $1,500 pays rent for a month. You know what I mean?
When you drive a car, it depreciates $10,000 just because you took it off the lot.
It's stupid to me, but the fact that he said within a minute's time it's sold out, it just shows how our value system is gone. All this shocking, all this bullshit about him having blood in his shoes. Who the hell wants blood in their shoes?
Right, and somebody else is
like a disease walking to happen.
I'm like, there's certain things designed. God designed it so I didn't walk in as they were trying to talk about this design in some place. Because I'd probably smack the shit out somebody. Like, yo, find some help.
I'm really sad right now, guys.
It's terrible.
My bottle of Stella Rose is gone. Black.
Your bottle of what?
My bottle of Stella Rose.
Stella Rose.
Stella Rose of black. Yes.
All right. Keep that in mind.
Does it have a drop of devil's blood in it?
No.
Oh my. That would let us know where Nurse Ratchetness comes from. So, but
oh God. Let me I gotta cut out for a minute, but I'll be back.
All right, Renee. We'll be here for a little while.
Okay.
The 9 folks, if you're just going on, this is the New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. This is the panel, the family. We're having great discussions. We talked about, malls. We talked about society, how things are going. People are acting up. We're talking about the Asian issue as far as violence is concerned. And right now we're just talking about Little Nas X and the song.
Who?
Little Nas X is the artist. I think the name of the song is Matador, not Matador.
No, say my name or something.
No, Say My Name is the side name. This is what people say. Call me your name. Call me by your name. I think it's Call Me by Your Name, something like that. It's he's probably trying to pull it. I saw the video. I listened to the song.
Wow.
Then after I saw the sneakers and everything, and I had the same outlook. It's a piece of shit and looking for attention, and he's gonna get it. He's gonna get the attention.
Get it.
First of all, where did he find the blood out? You know, from the devil. Did he go to find Trump or something or what? You know, that's what I'm trying to find.
You know what?
You know, where did he get the drop of blood from the devil? And if he didn't get it directly from the devil, that's false advertisement. So that's fraud.
Did you hear the explanation of the video? Did you hear it? Did he break it down to you?
Listen, I've seen explanations, heard it in the whole nine. It's just a bunch of bullshit, and it's to me, it still says the same thing. It's a shame that we got a society of young folks thinking that they need to decipher what's going on in this video, so they have something to gravitate to hold on to. My man's got issues. He's got personal concerns, whatever the situation is in his life, where he feels he's got to make gestures and he's got to look for this type of attention. You know, whatever he does, how he loves and how he prays, whatever the situation, that's his business. Nobody's looking at his sex and how he has sex when he buys music. And if they do, something wrong with you, for real, because I don't listen to music for the sex. I couldn't give a damn who you're screwing. You know, as long as you're not screwing me out of good music, it doesn't make sense to me.
My bank account.
He said it was about him being kicked out of heaven because he's gay and not being accepted.
See what I'm saying?
Being gay. So that's what the whole video was about with him. And
This generation of kids thinks that they can only. First off, they don't talk anymore. Everything is a text, right? So they're not able to fully, express themselves.
Right.
Everything has to be an imagery, an expression of imagery. So after the fact, you have to, someone asks a question, then you express yourself and you have to explain something. If it takes that much effort, I think you failed in your imagery. If it takes that much effort, we should be able to understand like almost immediately what the hell you're talking about. And if the song doesn't correlate with the video, why the hell do you waste money? Time. And then all of that stuff packaged onto an ugly ass sneaker. Come on, man.
Yeah,
that's stupid to me. It's stupid to me. But then
the blood kind of nonsense is craziness.
That and then the 666 and the Mark 1048. I was like, see, this is where
$15 for some sneakers.
I hate that when they talk about that because
it's stupid. That's like I said, to each their own when it comes to religion. I try not to push on that concept, but if I gotta dig in with this whole concept historically, I got so many reasons why I'm upset and mad that you even gravitated to the bullshit. Marketing nonsense, and if you're crying for help, you're crying in the wrong damn direction. So that's why I was like, I don't think they're crying for help. I just think he wants that attention to feel important so he can make that money.
Right, that's what it is.
That's it. Making that money.
Yeah, but here's the deal though, Mo, because somebody purchased their sneakers and then they send their kids out walking the street, and then their kid end up getting robbed for their sneakers and being beaten or shot for sneakers. This is known to happen in the past.
That's not even if he don't get killed by one of these super panicky Christians, hyper religious people with guns and shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
You might want your sneakers.
Just because he's rocking sneakers. They want to kill him because he's the devil. That type of stuff.
People were killing in the day for Jordans. You remember that? Back in the day when they were killing, people for Jordans in the inner cities and stuff.
Yeah.
None of that stuff makes sense to me. Because none of those things last forever.
No.
None of them. And none of them increase in value.
We come from a time. I don't know. Nowadays, I'm starting to learn when it comes to certain sneakers, that's not necessarily true.
They do increase in value.
Well, if you don't wear them,
However,
but you got to buy them and sit them on the shelf.
No. In some situations,
and you people buying those sneakers cannot afford to buy a sneaker to sit on the shelf.
You got some situations. I've seen some, and trust me, I had to watch it to understand it more. Where they'll buy sneakers, they look like shit, holes in them, a whole nine, because they're the originals, and they will buy them for thousands of dollars.
What's that store in New York?
I was like, it's stupid. Oh, Stadium Goods.
Stadium Goods. The prices.
Stadium
on those
Goods. in New York City. That's right there outside of the Canal Street. It is a preposterous. It's a preposterous. It's huge, and they have old shit stocked up, and you can see the rips and tears in it. And they'll have it, and they'll give you a rating. It's usually a 1 to 10 rating, and you'll see a rating of 3, and they'll still be $5,600 for this pair of shoes. Be like, but they're holy. They got no souls. The colors and everything, but they're the original. I was like,
what the biggest trash is something wrong? One man's trash is another man's treasure. So somebody
making funky sneakers anyway.
Absolutely. I don't
want to buy somebody else's foot fungus. It don't even make sense.
People do it. But you know what I'm also seeing too? I'm seeing that the young people are starting to go and go into thrift shops more now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm starting to see
thrifting.
Like I thrift. I've been thrifting forever.
Right, but it's new to them.
You know, and thrifting to me was more so just buying shit because you know when you poor, you ain't got many options. And then when you find shit that's brand new, like you know, wall units and shit like that, brand new, why buy it in the store if you can find it someplace else real cheap? You know that. Kind of But then
my daughter does that. She goes to the Habitat, buys furniture, strips it, repaints it, and changes the covers on them.
Yeah. Reupholster. That's big money. That's upcycling. Upcycle clothes. All that shit.
Sante does that, Mo.
Does she? Okay.
Yeah.
But she's no longer local, right? She moved out. Didn't she move someplace else? She's still local?
She did move, but she's back. She came back. That was a long time ago, though.
Okay. Maybe I need to hit her up. Like, what kind of options she got in life? Okay. But we try to do this upcycling shit, you know, with clothing. You know, find it and you see it, and you can always add this and take away that. And that's just things that we do. We see quite a lot, and we try to encourage my son because he looks at stuff on online and on the TV and like, yo, that's nice. And I look at him like, all right, I can make that in about an hour. I can give me about a half hour, and I can do that. I can make that. Even my wife sometimes, oh, we can do this, we can do that, and she'll tap my arm. Can't we? We can do that, right? We can do that, right? And I'm like, yeah, we can do that.
And that's the kind of stuff they need to learn to do anyway. These kids can't improvise nothing. Like they just can't.
They don't want to. That's the
if you don't do it one way,
that's right.
If anything happens to them when they get older and they're out on their own, they will not survive. They have no life
survival skills.
None. They don't know how to improvise. They don't know how to. If they don't have what everybody else has, they die. They just go crazy.
The point is, they don't want to improvise. That's how my son is. He thinks he's supposed to have everything new, everything.
Well, you must have gave him everything.
Well, we did. I did. But look, I can't do it more. I can't do it no more. But
that's the whole thing. The way you start them out is the way they end up.
Yeah.
My son used to come to me for them high price sneakers. I used to give him $40 and tell him, now if you want it to be enough, make it enough. Go rake a yard or whatever you got to do to get what you want. Because my money don't buy it. I sure do. But they have nice dress clothes and stuff. But I spend money on a shoe, but not on a sneaker.
Okay. Well, that's how she is. She's like that. She didn't understand sneakers, that type of stuff. And I'm like, the prices now, my son is like, it's only $225. $220 what? You what?
That's a bill.
And he's a big feet. So it's not going to be cheap, but still, 200 what?
He's a size 13, but like your average sneakers like Pumas or Nike, they're all expensive.
Track sneakers up $100-something for track sneakers. I'm like, it's cloth.
Yeah.
Skechers used to be the cheapest shoe out there. Now I pay $80 for a pair of Skechers. Like, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Everything is high. Everything.
That's my skeezies right there. I will find the skeezies.
I'll wait till they get old and they be on the sale shelf, and then I go get them. I'm not paying that kind of. I'm cheap. I'm not paying that kind of money.
I go straight to the sale rack. I go straight to the sale rack.
I don't recall buying a new pair of shoes right from a rack that wasn't on a sale rack for, I think, at least 20, 30 years now. All my
I'll go right to the clearance rack.
Yep.
And people spending too much money on material stuff. And it's not elevating. It's not elevating them. They just out showing off. They're not, what is it getting them?
Yeah.
They need to learn how to buy some suits. Like every man ought to have some suits in his closet. and they're not dressing like that ever. And I know that because me working with kids, whenever there's a special event or something,
Right.
they don't have any. Last year, or the year before, I collected like 6 bags of ties, so that we would have ties for them when they needed a tie. And I was hoping that they were going to implement something in health class where they taught the boys how to tie the tie, things like that, but it never
No, they're too
happened.
busy trying to teach them how to wear a condom. That's how the
Girl,
society goes these days.
did you hear about that bill they put up that the kids from kindergarten up to 2nd grade, they're going to teach them that they can be whatever they want, a boy or a girl.
Gender neutrality. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And they're
Oh,
talking about giving them medication to help them be what they want to be.
Bugging.
Kindergarten, do you know how impressionable those ages are?
I'm
yeah,
bugging.
very.
It's the discussion. Lawmakers right now are so scared of the pushback that they're willing to pass anything. And I'm like, yo, you don't understand how counterproductive this is. Children at a young age barely know who their fucking names, let alone what they want to be in the future.
You
You can't write and spell your name. How you gonna say you a boy or girl?
You know, and all that stuff. How the hell do you know the difference between a boy and a girl other than what you see? You know,
But down the road, they're going to say, I was born this way. See, you weren't born that way. You were taught that way.
Right. I'm like, look, man, all
That
that stuff.
born that way.
When you allow, I mean, I was already lost in when they talk about non-binary. I said, yo, there we go with the titles and bullshit. Non-binary.
What? Non-binary? Are they computers?
I mean, this is how they want to
software.
No longer do you refer to me as a man or human. I am a wallet. That's it.
Right.
Empty wallet.
Deleting the pronouns.
Card. That's it.
Not using, taking out the pronouns. Don't use he, she, her.
Yeah, you gotta use pronouns.
Which is ridiculous.
What I'm saying, it.
I don't.
It, they.
I
mean, what other pronoun you supposed to use?
The correct
it is moving.
I never want to be disrespectful.
That's crazy. I hope a lot of people be homeschooling.
I can't remember, but to remember the person that was before, and I make reference to the person as I remember them, like in the name.
Just check me.
I'll call
I
them
work security.
like, that's not my name anymore. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't mean any harm, but that's just how I relate. So I try to.
A lot of people don't get offended because if you knew them for all that time and stuff, a lot of people don't get offended.
Those be the first one to get offended.
No.
I work security and they hand me their license and it says male and I'm looking at a female. Who's this?
Oh,
right.
And vice versa.
Right.
In my line of work, you can change your birth certificate, even a death certificate. You can change the gender.
Who the fuck wants to change the death certificate?
Who cares if you're going that way? You know, I'm serious.
That person that died referred to themselves as a female, but they were born a male. You can change it on the birth certificate. You can change the gender.
But you get up so far until it's just ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
It's
absurd.
It's Coca-Cola water.
All of his life.
It's wrong.
You can change a death certificate, the gender on the death certificate.
It's the craziest
the family
thing.
Can. Yep.
But you know what?
On a random note, I found a new love.
Uh-oh. What's that?
What is that?
Lime Ranch, avocado lime ranch. From Chipotle?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Okay, that's what it is.
Chick-fil-A. Yes,
I wonder if they bottle it because it's so good.
I do not like Chick-fil-A. It's not
I don't
that
like it either, but I like his dressing.
Okay. I don't you know what? I try not to spend with Chick-fil-A because they're very discriminatory. They're discriminating people who aren't Christian.
Don't care.
Yeah, they may have
one. Rocking.
I care.
On
They
my chicken Caesar salad dressing.
Laurel don't care. As long as she get her, she good. She's happy. As long as she likes what it is.
A chicken Caesar salad with that dressing. And this focaccia rosemary bread.
She's part of the Yum Yum society. She's good. As long as it's Yum Yum to her, she's good. I get all politically correct and shit. Nah, I don't like them. I'm not dealing with them. They're against people of color, or they're against people of left hands. They don't like anybody who's left-handed. No, I can't deal with them. No. I get like that sometimes. Sometimes, unless I'm hungry.
Just give me the dressing. I don't care about all that stuff.
Dressing, okay, all right, I got you. I can't deal with it. I try to be.
I'm not gonna spend money with people who treat my people like crap. I'm just not gonna do it.
Or kill us. Or
Me
kill us.
personally, I've never had a bad experience there. They've always been polite. How you doing? Good morning. How can I help you?
Nobody's saying that they're not. They're very nice, and they're fast, and they're accommodating. They're all of those things.
As long as you
but they don't have no love for us.
I look at it. You know what? Also, one of the largest companies that I say culprits to our bad health is McDonald's. But McDonald's employs so many of us and gives us great opportunities.
Even on some of the owners of the own McDonald's and stuff,
yeah,
you know,
all companies, McDonald's University.
McDonald's University also.
I mean, they're black owned right here in Atlantic City. So
yeah, they are, and the owners there are
best kept secret.
Yep, they're really good. Yep,
the best kept secret for a kid's job is Wawa.
Wawa. It's hard to get in. I couldn't get in. They make you do the aptitude test or whatever.
So, I
think they know
they do car financing. They give the kids credit cards.
And college tuition.
You've been working with them for 5 years. You automatically get invested. You get stock.
Yeah.
A lot of people leave Wawa. If they career at Wawa's, they leave as millionaires.
Just know now, my wife and I both said the same thing. If we do migrate and move to Florida, if you go into Wawa and see one of us as a manager, don't get upset because they talking about $70,000 for a manager.
They pay well.
It's 60-something thousand starting at McDonald's.
Orlando, 70.
They had Wawa up here and then left and went to Florida and worked at Wawa down there.
Yo, but you want a regular sandwich? Do you want a classic? Which one do you want? I'm good. I got you.
Yeah, that's one of the best secrets.
Some extra ketchup with that.
Hey, no problem. Hey, thank you for coming in today. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you later.
Imagine McDonald's making anywhere between $50,000 and $65,000.
Hey, look, if they pay well, I don't mind, especially something that I use. I like Wawa. I'm cool with it.
I was young and dumb. I should have stayed at McDonald's. I would have been, I don't know.
Shit. Wawa fucked me up when they started making dinners. I was like, dinners?
Burgers. I about their burgers.
I was like, grits. Cheesy grits.
That cheesy grits is rocking.
Yes.
I never had
oatmeal too.
And just not long ago, I had the cheeseburger with French fries. I was like, it don't look like meat, but it sure does taste good.
You said it don't look like meat.
It's not meat.
I don't know what it is, but it tastes good and it chews good. I was like, I'm like, damn, it's really good. I was like, Wawa got this.
The Alfredo was good.
Yeah.
When Wawa start having Chinese food, I'm done.
But they got meatloaf.
Oh my god.
They got
meatloaf.
All kinds of shit. They got Alfredo. They got a whole bunch of stuff.
Penny pasta, yep.
When you start
with vodka sauce.
Look, 7-Eleven's like, look, y'all keep going over there. I get all the people who are drunk after the fact and needed something to munch on. 7-Eleven's like, I still got.
7-Eleven still open in Atlantic City?
7-Eleven's still like, we still got free chili.
One of them.
Is it still open? In AC?
One of them closed. The other one's still open.
Texas Avenue.
But the one down there, the one down at the police station?
That's still open.
Yeah. But the one down here is done. On South Carolina, Tennessee, whatever they
had enough.
But they also have one on Pacific Avenue too, Pacific in New York. There's another one Pacific in New York. So you have
Are they open?
Yeah.
I'll go right over to Brigantine Bridge and go to Wawa.
I'm waiting to see two things. I'm waiting for Wawa to come back to Atlantic City, and I'm waiting to see a Royal Farms across the street so they can challenge each other.
Bro, the chicken is nasty.
Yo,
you gotta go a certain time because that chicken is rocking.
Let me tell you,
so salty.
Royal Farms fish.
Yeah, it's salty like hell.
Fish wrap, that was so good.
That is salty as hell.
It is.
You can tell when somebody can't cook, they put a lot of salt in it to mask the taste, and that's what they actually do.
And you have to get it at a certain time because certain who made it, but that chicken be good. I be tearing it up on the way, throwing bones out my car window and everything.
It's a conspiracy.
That is not good chicken.
giant barrels of chicken, and they hit you with all the stuff.
No, he's frozen.
It's trying to kill you.
They do cook a whole lot in that big barrel.
And big ass pieces of fries and all, man, they trying to kill yo. But the fish is good.
I don't like them. I don't like them Western fries. I don't care for them.
It's too much.
They have better ones at ShopRite.
Okay. When ShopRite has takeout food, yo, that's when it's done. When they have a takeout outside of food, they ain't got no takeout outside of the building.
Steak.
You can go in, grab it, and go to a register, but a takeout window.
You mean like,
oh no. Because they have sandwiches and stuff already made. The fried chicken, the wings, they got buffalo wing hot wings, and chicken, like the legs and thighs are in a container for like $7. You get 10 pieces.
Ribs already ready. And right now.
You see, Terrell's our field representative looking for the best buck. That's our field representative. Where do we go?
I'm telling you.
This week we went.
Everybody's talking at once.
One sale. Check it out.
Yo, but the ShopRite chicken be hit different. I'm telling you, it hits different.
With all this, because you're a foodie for sure. There's no doubt about it.
Acme chicken. Acme chicken.
No. ShopRite chicken is better than Acme chicken.
I ain't know. ShopRite was salty. You like salt. God bless you.
That's the only one I go to. No, Acme chicken. It's not always the same. You know what I mean? But when I say that ShopRite chicken is consistently good,
you heard it here first. She said
exactly.
So if ShopRite wants to sponsor, you can sponsor us. It'll be the segment. The latest.
And also in the morning, if you get there early enough, you can get a turkey breast, half a turkey breast. I usually take it off the bone, make my own gravy, peppers and onions, over some rice or mashed potatoes. We that's dinner. That's dinner.
There you have it, folks.
What time of day? I'm not hating. So,
I go to Sam's Club to get the rotisserie chicken. I don't mess with ShopRite chicken. They smaller and they cost too much. I go to Sam's Club and get my rotisserie chicken.
It's the best rotisserie in the area.
They got ribs too.
Yep. There were ribs.
I haven't tried
at Sam's Club.
Oh wow.
The chicken I do, because it's always bigger. You can tell they fill with all kinds of steroids because they're massive. Massive pieces.
All right.
That's right. I get them.
If it's real small, it's a pigeon, folks. It's a pigeon.
It's a pterodactyl. Them suckers are huge.
For $4.98, that's all right.
Exactly.
I can get it.
I remember walking up one time. I was like, "Bet, let me go grab a couple." I had like 7. The guy stopped. Wait, you can't grab all these. You can't. I said, "What you mean? I'm about to pay for it." He says, "No, you can only get 2 at a time." I was like, "Damn!" Plotting like, "Yo, you grab 3. I grab 2."
I grabbed 2. My wife grabbed 2. My son grabbed 2.
Yo, because I was about to share, a couple for my mom, my mother-in-law, put in the freezer, eat 1 or 2. You're good, that type of deal. Because when you
they're making really good salads in there now too.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a chicken salad there. They got a shrimp salad. There's a spinach and strawberry salad.
Oh man, it was so good.
The one thing we're missing here is a good restaurant to eat some salads. Remember the one place that we used to have in the mall, but they were too expensive. Then the other, then they opened up jalapeno.
Salad Works was good.
Salad
that's expensive.
Yeah.
But Chick-fil-A has a good cob salad. Wawa has a good salad. The one you have them make at Wawa. Not the one that's sitting out front. The ones you have them make.
I used to get the chicken salad sandwich.
I like the ones out front. I take them for lunch sometimes.
Yeah, they changed though. They changed vendors, and then my salad dressing is underneath my lettuce. Come on, man.
I grab 2 of them, put them in a bowl, slice up some extra lettuce with some cheese, love piece of meat. Bam, got my own dressing. Ta-da!
You got to try this avocado lime though.
No, that's all right. I'm not an avocado eater.
Have you tried? You said you like World Farms, right?
World Farm.
Do you like their? Farm. Do you like their chicken salad? I just tried it. It's not bad.
Never had it.
They have a chicken salad.
I'm not a fan of chicken salad, but you know who does have a good chicken salad? And I'm surprised. Cedar Market on Ohio and Baltic Avenue. That chicken salad, you think it's tuna, but that's chicken, homie. When I tell you that stuff is rocking, I was like, yo, can I get another one?
Y'all know the
They've been
chicken
bringing a
salad?
lot of they've been
Just
bringing a
women
lot
know
of people of color
everything.
in their stores to cook.
And the canned chicken.
You know, all the places, all they use is the old chicken they didn't sell and chop it
That's
up.
all right. It's still good. It's all right.
bro,
They do the same thing as Sam's Club.
you
They're
know the
doing the
thing
same
about
thing
it,
as Sam's Club.
but they used to do the same thing at Geno's. You remember back in the days, Geno's Chili? They used to take all of the hamburgers that it didn't sell.
They say they do that at Wendy's. They take the old
Actually put
hamburger
it,
meats and
grind
stuff
it
that
up
they
later
didn't and
on,
make the
mix it
chili.
with chili sauce and give it back to you. They were recycling the burgers at Geno's.
I don't
Yeah.
ever remember
know
the
they had
Geno's chicken. I remember
chili.
chicken, not chili. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
Geno's there was a Geno's on Kentucky and Arctic Avenue. There was a Geno's in
Right.
Texas
Yeah,
on the Boulevard. Yeah, those places used to recycle the hamburgers and put it into the chili. I know.
I just don't
We used
remember
to all the
chili.
time.
Isn't that what Boston Market was doing with the chicken that they didn't use, chicken or turkey? They would make the pot pies.
That's what they do at Sam's Club. They use that rotisserie chicken that's left over and make those pot pies. And same thing with the chicken salad and the cut up pieces of chicken. That's not fresh chicken. That's the chicken left over from the night before.
The same thing. I do the same thing. Not cool.
Well, it tastes good.
No, I smother it in some gravy and keep it moving.
Roasted peppers, good to go.
Mm-hmm.
I get it in when I can. Trust me. Mm-hmm.
The bro was smother that mother, huh? She was smother that mother, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Add some flavor to that one. I heard that.
Mm-hmm. Make some fresh gravy.
You know what I'm watching these days? I'll watch a lot of the Asian street food places, like when you go like to Taiwan and Japan, the street food places, because
you don't know what you're always getting though. You gotta know what you eat when you mess with them.
You're watching what they're cooking, you're seeing exactly what you're getting. It's just how they cook it is quickly, and I'm like, yeah, I know I can do that. I know I can. I kept saying this to my wife. I said, if it wasn't for the stuff that I'm doing right now, I'm always considering possibly a food truck, because you can do quick food, good good food quickly, and depends.
You talk about this food truck for the last 5 years. I'm still waiting.
It's there. It's coming. I might send you an invite. We'll be in Florida doing it, but it's cool. But
Florida.
Yeah, whenever the time is that we retire.
Time is right.
Teppanyaki. I've been working on the concept of teppanyaki. I see you can do that. The old donut
What's
type.
that?
Teppanyaki is like it's a grill. It's a grill type of food. Korean food. Teppanyaki is these balls, and it's you put whatever it is, whether it's dough or eggs and stuff like that. And you cook these balls. Usually, have all kinds of seafood in, or chicken or vegetables inside these balls. When you get them, you lace them with whatever rice and whatever sauce, and just easy, quick food that you can pop in. But it's really healthy food, good stuff to eat. So teppanyaki is something I like. I'm about to order when I get back. I'm about to get all the stuff. I'll show y'all. You'll get little balls. You're not knowing what kind of wonderful things in it, but it'll be.
I want to know what kind of balls to put in my mouth, Mo.
Hey, I will definitely keep it in mind. I will definitely keep it in mind. But I've seen that they're famous all over, and it's just really cool. That and the crepes. You know how you're making sandwiches with crepes? I was like, there's a good way to do stuff because you can make really healthy foods using that stuff. Because the more and more I want to I just want to eat good, but eat fun, and eat healthy. Because this shit these days, man, you can't keep going off of that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm tired of chewing lettuce.
The thing about this, because a lot of people talk about making, about buying the salads, but you can make a great salad at home. You have the right dressing, lettuce, tomatoes, croutons, bacon. You can make a really good salad, because when I make a salad, I throw down.
Yep.
You have, cut up pieces of apples and you put it inside of there with grapes, the whole 9 yards. You can really make a good salad at home.
Absolutely. And I can make my own dressing. I can make any dressing, any salad, any kind, anytime. Not a problem.
The one that you
make.
Oil,
vinegar.
She said, Lorraine will say, make her that avocado lime stuff.
That's not hard. Avocado lime, that ain't hard.
I don't even like avocado, but I like this dressing.
It's probably just a touch of lime. Yep, it's that touch of lime that really throws it over. That and a dash of cilantro probably. But it's you can make anything. It just depends if you got the time. Half of the time, that's the problem. We don't have the time.
That's the problem right there. But you know the thing about it, like anybody would say, eating right is always expensive because it's either time or money. You have to put one out of
Yeah,
the two.
they charge you $7 for a fruit salad, and you can get a bag of fries for $2.
Yeah, exactly. Eating right is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So I'm tired of
especially
chewing lettuce, though. I'm done with this. It was this big bowl. I'm done. I can't chew lettuce no more.
No, okay.
No, I'm done.
I,
Done.
I really enjoy a good lettuce. I mean, a good. I
Good
had
lettuce.
5 lettuce one time. I said, okay, let me look for it, and I found five different type of lettuces: Boston lettuce, watercress lettuce, romaine lettuce, iceberg lettuce, and it was one more. I forget what it was. And said, let me surprise them. Cut sweetened, jellied lemon rinds with different seeds and stuff like sesame. And I used a tamarind, a light tamarind sauce. And like, what the hell? What is this? And I was like, hey, y'all know I can flex, but it's costly. Some of the stuff is costly. It's hard to find.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it costs money.
I mean, it's just more
You
expensive.
need junk food all day. Try to buy healthy food, organic, grown food. You're gonna spend an arm and a leg, and that's ridiculous.
Yep. And then when you go to a restaurant, you know how they're selling now that instead of making salads, they're just going to give you a wedge.
A wedge of lettuce with some lemon.
A big ass wedge. I'm like, if that ain't lazy, then you're gonna charge me $10 for a wedge of lettuce.
I have and then put cracked black pepper on it and say it's a salad. What is this?
Yeah, it's an inferior. I was like, put that's how it is. But you know what I wanted to ask y'all in the situation. I'm not gonna pose a question to you right now, but we was talking about mental health and the way people are snapping right now. How are you guys doing, man? Are y'all seeing how people interaction? I know Laurel in your job.
These people get on my last nerves. Every last one of y'all, stay home, do your online banking. Stop coming in asking about your stimulus. If you don't have online banking, you would know that your stimulus came in.
They want to get stimulated. That's why they contact you, girl. Be patient.
Look,
being stimulated is extremely important these days. It seems even more so.
People need
so they can go buy more crab legs and get all the chicken wings out of the freezer.
What's wrong with that?
I was actually just contemplating how we just bugging out, right? Like you see society today, people are, really snapping. You see it a lot more days. I don't know if it's just the fact that we have more access to see people, the way the internet is, but mental health it seems to be decaying a lot more these days. And this stimulus is one thing, but we need something to stimulate our minds nowadays.
Read a book.
Bugging.
Stay off the internet. Read a book.
You know, think about it, Mother. Did you hear what happened at the Capitol today? About the guy that actually tried to run the barricades, at the Capitol? Did you hear about that earlier?
I saw that on the news today. What happened? He ran his car into the Capitol wall?
Yeah, ran
it. Yeah, it was a black guy that did it.
Really?
Well, at least they didn't shoot and kill him. They didn't shoot and kill him, so that's a good thing.
At least yet. You don't know.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
He pulled out a weapon. Renee's asking, are they going to do something with Atlantic Avenue? Like what? They're trying to actually just saying the diet. They're trying to make it smaller. We got a lot of problems with this concept, but we'll see how we move forward.
That's to enlarge Pacific Avenue.
I don't even know if it's to enlarge Pacific Avenue. I don't know how that can be the way the buildings are built.
I thought they were trying to make Pacific Avenue one way at one point.
They were at one time, and that may be part of some of this long-term plan to make Atlantic Avenue thinner, Pacific Avenue one way, so they can make Atlantic Avenue one way the opposite direction, and have a longer, pinwheel turn type deal. I don't know if that's
like we don't have enough people running down the one-way streets anyway, the wrong way.
It's just
that's not going to solve anything.
I'm just waiting to see how public transportation manages with this whole concept, and then public safety, lighting. It's a major development issue.
Because you got New Jersey Transit too running on Atlantic Avenue. Well, they go the one way. They got to move to Pacific Avenue.
They can't do that. There's a lot of holes in this whole plan. I don't know if it's going to go, and I don't know how it goes. But initially there was some votes talking about it because I just want some attention being made to these streets and the sidewalks. because these streets.
Because you got transit running on Atlantic Avenue, and the jitneys are only running on Pacific Avenue. So what they gonna do?
Mm-hmm. They're trying to find it. It's always somebody in another part of the state who thinks they know
what's going on down here because of what they see when they came and visited that one time.
Right. They think they know what's best for Atlantic City, how to make it better. It's always that. It's always somebody from out of town, somewhere else who has some sort of power and authority wants to decide what they think is going to work. They went to they went someplace down south, New Orleans, Texas, or they love to go to Vegas and be like, we can do this. You never thought about some of the barriers in between where you really can't do these things. No, we can't have a 10-mile long strip because Atlantic City, that one straight area is not 10 miles long. We can't do that. So, but that's how. It's sad to say how it grows. But I was asking earlier about mental health because we're starting to see a lot of people snap. They're bugging. We saw the guy who beat up the 65-year-old woman. This guy who just ran into the Capitol. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. He's bugging. The young 14-year-old girl's trying to rob the guy for the Uber car and then end up killing them guy, smashing him against the wall. That was horrible. But they were bugging. People are really it's really getting to them. This whole situation now, the pandemic, restrictions, not being able to drive, going to quarantine. Now, New Jersey we went going down. We were at one point in time allowed to think this whole concept that we can be 6 feet apart, and it went down to 3 feet apart. Now it's going to go back to 6 feet because we had a horrible spike in people in COVID cases. But we knew we were going to have a spike because they were coming back from Miami, coming back from spring break, bringing that shit with them. We told them. What was the story in Vegas? Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Shit, whatever you did in Miami should have stayed there.
It don't work that way.
They don't. But we noticed that spike, so the restrictions are changing now. So I'm waiting to see how it trickles on. My son was really happy about possibly going back to school full time, 5 days a week. For what's left. He's a senior. He's about to graduate. Now they're like, oh no, you can only come back every other day, and so it just makes it really hard. And people are just bugging. We're not able to address it. And the industry itself, like the casino industry, is dependent so highly on tourism, right? So I know that policies here in New Jersey weigh heavily on how the tourism district feels about stuff. Yeah. They push influence. They're the ones that are creating so much influence in the state government that the government's like, sure, we'll open up the doors for you so you can have shows. Sure, we'll have all this stuff, and then we'll blame it on somebody else later on. No, it's your dumbass to say, yes, you can open up the doors to have all these individuals who are reckless come into town, act up. Now that you can have open alcohol cases up and down the boardwalk and all that stuff, now you're basically just supporting the concept for a petri dish type of atmosphere. And I'm like, come on, man. No matter how much you think that casinos are on point for testing, they can't test and catch every inclination of someone being sick. It's always going to be people walking underneath this radar, going through this back door.
Man, please.
Sometimes they don't show it.
The same thing,
right?
Every day.
I always hear about those grand, those giant radar cameras and stuff and you see monitors and everything that show you heat dissipation and whatever. How are you going to have a person walking into your facilities 140 degrees? It should be dead. But it reads 140 degrees. That should let you know, ding, 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 hold up, my system isn't working well. Wasn't working right. Everybody's above 190 degrees or 109 degrees temperature.
I mean, security.
Security's supposed to do that. But security's supposed to do that. But if you see it.
Yeah, 100.3 is the limit. If they're 100.3, they cannot come in. They have to sit and wait, cool off or whatever, and then they get retested. The temperature thing again. But
if that person is asymptomatic, they will have a normal reading on as far as their body
temperature.
Yeah. Right. They still have the virus. Okay.
That's why they're still telling us about hand washing and sanitation and 6 feet. So, but then you go to the airplane. You go on the airplane.
Thing, you know what I mean?
Go to the airport. They got y'all standing 6 feet apart. You go sit on the plane. You're sitting right next to the bro. Like, don't make no sense.
Exactly.
That's why I'm gonna get a full body condom.
That's what I went on and got the. That's why I went on and got the vaccine, because it's not going to get better. It's going to spike again, because you got, especially people coming from other states where their laws may be a little different or altered than ours. So they're coming here, coming to Atlantic City, coming to New Jersey, free ranging, free balling, whatever you want to call it, and then bringing that crap with them. So it's never going to be completely gone.
Right. Right.
That's why I went on and got the vaccine, especially when I found out at the airport, they test you for the COVID, and when you don't have the vaccine shot, you may or may not be able to get on a flight depending on where you're going and all this other stuff. I'm not trying to hear it.
Plus, they opened up. I think what they did is they created a whole new mandate for people who are vaccinated. They're like giving you all these liberties, like making it a lot more attractive to get the vaccine. They're like, vaccine, you don't have to be tested again. You don't have to worry about somebody showing flashing IDs and stuff. I'm like, that's kind of fucked up. That's kind of, I mean, I guess it's a good thing. It's discrimination.
Here goes one for you. Krispy Kreme said that they're going to give anyone who comes into Krispy Kreme a free donut if you could actually prove that you've been vaccinated. How's that?
Well, let me go to Krispy Kreme right now, because I got my card. Let me head up. Let me go.
Just for getting the jab. That's what they call it in England, the jab.
It's okay.
Catch, that's a good jab. If it's free, why not? It's good for me.
But I go for the second one on the 18th.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens after that. Because like I said, I got a sinus infection. Could be before or after the shot, who knows? But got a sinus infection, and then like my nose, like I said, I got a little runny nose. It's like I'm gonna take antihistamines. Can't take antihistamines to work, because I'll be like this at work.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So, that BP don't want to know why I'm sleeping at the security podium.
No, it doesn't. Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I suffer either way.
Well, I hope that all of this works out. I hope you find out as a side, what do you call it? A byproduct of this vaccine, that it helps you with the other issues. It helps you regulate some of the other concerns.
Think about it, Mo, because a lot of people are skipping their regular health care visit to their physicians and stuff. You need to still
I still go. I got a mammogram. I went to the girly doctor. I went to see Cupanini.
That's what I've been doing. It's like every
that's
time
at the end of the month.
People get a tune-up for their cars, but they don't get a tune-up for themselves. And that's just the bottom line. I just went and got my eyes checked, go to the dentist, the whole 9 yards, blood pressure, heart rate, everything.
I've been needed an oil change for my car. What's the use of getting an oil change if I can't drive the car?
Get better care of their car than they do of themselves, is what I'm saying.
Right. I went to go see my heart doctor. I haven't seen him so long. He's like, you're doing pretty good, but the only thing you get vaccinated yet? And he's like, why not? He's telling me all this stuff. I said, Doc, I hear you. I got a show every week. We talk about the vaccine. We talk about different things. Information is extremely important. I don't think you'll be able to tell me anything I may not be aware of already. However, thank you.
The doc was insistent that I get this vaccination. He's insistent. So once I realized, like I said, the air travel restrictions and stuff, I just went on and got it.
Oh, so definitely. As much as I know we enjoy traveling, if it's a mandate saying that you can't go nowhere, I guess stick me where it counts then. Fuck it then.
Because I'm like,
exactly. That's
especially when my husband had gotten his and came home, and I was like, so if I get sick from you, then what? Like, got this vaccine in your body. I'm so bad.
Where did you have yours taken, Laurel? Where?
Say again?
Where did you have the Pfizer?
Pfizer.
Where?
So no.
No, where did you go to? What was the location?
The convention center.
Okay, Atlantic City
Convention Center.
Okay.
They have the what you call it? They got Atlantic Care running it, but they got the military in there. The Air Force is in there. The lieutenants and sergeants telling you where you can go, how far you can step. Don't breathe this way, look this way, go this way. So and it's like I was in there. My appointment was for 3:30, but I went at 9 a.m. I was told as long as you have an appointment that day, you can go at any time. You don't have to go at the scheduled time. It took me, and I got there. The longest it took me was from getting from the parking garage to where they're giving the shot. because you gotta go down this long hallway, go through the barrier, like they have to concert grates up. You know what I mean? The gates. So it's like you only go one way. Gotta walk around, herd it in like animals, walk around, and then go upstairs. I mean, once you're in, they give you a number, and you give your information to the nurse. She asks you your questions, or you know, to this, you know, you said you can't this, that, cancer, They ask you all the medical questions, you answer yes or no, give you a shot. You sit down for 15 minutes, they watch you, make sure you're not having an allergic reaction to it. They schedule you for your second shot, and then you leave. I was there half hour. Not even.
How did you go about getting? You had to go to the website to register, or what?
Actually, my sister-in-law got, but she was getting, if you want it, you know, my sister-in-law, she got my sister one like on the 7th. So she's like been helping us get them through the website, I guess.
And which
so
one? Which shot did you get?
I got Pfizer. Because that's what they had that day.
Okay.
That's what they had that day. Like they had ran out of the Moderna shots and they brought in the Pfizer shots. But if you do want it, let me know. You can text me your information, your name, date of birth, address, and your email address, and I'll pass it off to her. And as long as she's looking for the appointments, to set you up.
I'm getting me a damn cocktail. I'm getting some Moderna. I'm getting 2 shots of AstraZeneca. I'm getting the Pfizer.
Yeah, because I was talking to earlier today. Mount Zion is having one of those vaccination spots over there, and they're actually distributing the Moderna. So the guy gave me his number and stuff. Where he could I could text it to you guys. Mo, and you could get the Moderna because more likely I'll be getting it this coming week. The Moderna, at Mount Zion. So
AstraZeneca
should,
right? AstraZeneca should be available in the area really soon too. I know the Pfizer, they had a reboot and they got a new shipment in. Remember, because they stopped giving Pfizer. Moderna was no longer available because Pfizer was getting pushed. So now it'll be 3 of the 6 different vaccine variants will be available in the area. I know that Walgreens, CVS, all the pharmacies also have on specific days, they give you the vaccine. All you got to do is register with them, have your identification, and I think whatever health insurance you possibly have, and you're able to.
They didn't ask for insurance at so I'm hoping I'm not gonna get a bill later.
Well, I think in those centers
they didn't ask for. And I know casino workers they have a website they go to where you can get it at the convention center too. And I think the casino are sponsoring it, so like you wouldn't have a bill anyway, even if you didn't have insurance. So,
I think that's the case.
CVS is free.
Yeah,
I don't know about them asking for insurance, but it is free.
Okay.
And but they have the Pfizer at CVS here in Atlantic City.
Okay.
They have that. It's available for those that indulge. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and to make it more available, but it's crazy how only 20% of the vaccine, the receivers of vaccine, have gotten a full dosage. Only 20%.
That go back for the second one. Because that first one, my arm, and I tell you, I couldn't lift my arm. I was like, dog. And then they was mad at me in my job because I couldn't do table drops. I couldn't lift. If I can't lift my arm, I can't lift. So that was 2 days. But then by the 3rd day, I was good. I just had like I said, a low grade fever. But that was a mess. Now I'm good. I don't even feel no pain now. Like I'm touching it and there's no pain. But the first 2 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I was like, yo, what did I do?
Just sent you a text message, Mo, so with that guy's name and number from Mount Zion. So
awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
you're welcome.
Whoever indulges, again, as we always said here, we're not anti-vaxxers, we're anti-ignorance. So we try to give you as much information and our own experiences of our experiences.
It may not be the same for everybody. Everybody may, come up differently. I just experienced, like I said, the sore arm and then the low grade fever, but we'll see what happens with the second shot.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's your life, it's your right. You be the judge, because at the end of the day, it's going to be on you, Jack. That's the way you look at it, whatever your decision is.
Adrian, say that again.
Adrian says.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's your life, it's your right. You do whatever you like.
That's right. It's your life, your right. There you go.
Yeah.
Remember
It's
that.
your life.
It says think positive, test negative, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the next. That's exactly right. Be positive and test negative.
That's our mantra. No matter what, stay positive in the whole nine. Gina's popping in, y'all. She's saying what I missed. I was like, what'd you miss? Quite a bit. A little bit of this discussion, a little of that. You know, you're welcome to come on. You're going through the same things, Gina. If you do, you remember you got to erase your cookies so you'll be able to come on. Because if not, you might run into barriers. If you're willing to,
let them know. Let her know. No, she has to remove the cookies because we're all diabetics. We don't eat cookies.
I got cookies.
I got
I don't want to hear about you having cookies if we can't share none.
I got cookies.
My wife's trying to show me her ball.
I had one of those.
What is that? I've seen that before.
We got two. I was trying to get them. I was trying to get my son. Yeah, I know. I was trying to get my son to dangle in front of him with a spotlight when we have a moment to have a disco moment or whatever. But anyway.
Yeah, I had one hanging from my car mirror years ago. You know, from my Cutlass Supreme.
Nobody want to look at the cookies. You foul. You like to dangle shit in front of people's face. You foul. Okay, I think I like this light action going on. I got another light. This is a starlight. If you can't see it, multiple lights and shit. I got more lights than I need right now. I got lights everywhere.
You're on stage, baby.
I get the whole production, and we're I just got send it to me by email. Okay, let me see if I have it. Gina, do I have your email? Let's see. I just got my hands on another computer, so we'll see. Another laptop. Yep, there we go. Gina Holmes. Wait, not her. No, not Gina Holmes. Gina. Yes, but that's why do I, Gina? I don't have it. But that could be her trying to come on now. Let me close out. Damn it. The only thing about having dual screens, sometimes we can get in the way. Yeah, she's on. Gina's trying to come on. Gina's trying to come on. You're almost there. You're almost there. Laurel, come back on. Yep.
No.
Laurel, you eating more cookies. You already showed us you eating cookies. Don't try to go half, only showing your nose and stuff like. Oh, that's right. Okay.
She's having dessert. Leave her alone, Mo. She just finished up a meal just now. She's having dessert. And then the next thing she's gonna fall asleep. Watch. That's the next move right there.
3 days from now. Put 2 cookies in a little bag, little bag.
I don't have no vanilla ice cream. Otherwise, that would have made me a sandwich.
Oh, you go extra.
I mean, extra.
You have cookies and ice cream to make a sandwich. What else? You gotta dip it in some caramel or something.
If I had some melted chocolate, I would have did it. I don't have no chocolate. I use the last to make these cookies.
You know what? I salute you because you get it on. I salute you. You get it on. There's no more bullshit. I love it. Not a problem. Gina, I was trying to send it to your email, but I don't think I have your email. I don't know how I can get it.
A little while ago.
Yeah, you popped in. I don't know what happened. But I'm concerned about how things are developing, y'all. Watching stuff, and all the economists are saying the same thing. In April, we'll see a boom in our economy. By June, we should be really good, but there might be a crash shortly after that.
No, we'll be here for a while.
Are they sending out a third stimulus or no?
Fourth, yes. Fourth is almost there. They're trying to tie it into the infrastructure discussion, and this the fourth one. At one point in time, it was what's the sister's name? Senator Tlaib. She was the one that devised this whole plan about the fourth stimulus, and they're basing it off of long-term injections into the economy. We already had one that built a little momentum. We waited too long. Then we had another one. We would only needed 3, but this fourth one has to do in increments in time for it to continue happening. It's smart science behind all that stuff, but Republicans are getting in the way because ultimately, who has to pay for it? The 1%. They're trying to get the super wealthy to pay for all of these increases. I said, and it can happen.
They ain't doing nothing with the money. They're just sitting there dying with it and just passing it on. They ain't doing nothing with it.
But you have to remember one thing also, Mo, because a lot of the disasters and stuff like the first Great Depression came about because they had a freaking president who was a Republican also, neglected everything, and they ended up with the very first pandemic, and then they ended up with a second pandemic by a freaking Republican again. So then what happened every single time around, even George Bush during his years, he actually, this entire country went into the ditch. Barack pulled it out after, 8 years being in office. So they're known for wrecking the economy. They are known for wrecking the economy.
Gina,
I don't like this new way. I gotta hold this darn tablet.
What is that?
Whoozy what's it? It's some new shit. It's good. I like what you.
Is it chocolate?
Yeah, it's chocolate.
It's got the crisp rice in it too, and caramel.
No caramel, just chocolate.
And crisp rice.
Chocolatey crisp peanut butter candy bar.
Oh, it's like peanut butter.
I'm sorry.
I was talking about candy.
Adrian was talking, and I'm so sorry.
No.
I distracted. No, but Gina said she don't like this way. Well, I'm sorry, but that's the way we get on. You can do it. You can do it.
What's up, Gina?
Now I gotta sit here and hold this tablet, and sometimes the camera off because I can't get it centered. I'm used to holding my phone and being on live on my phone.
Oh, you got it on your laptop. Okay.
No, on my tablet.
On her tablet.
Because you got to erase your cookies on your phone.
Huh?
You got to erase
your cookies.
What cookie? Give me one, Laurel.
That's the wrong cookie.
When you get a chance, go on your phone, Google how to erase your cookies on your phone. If you have an Android phone,
go to YouTube.
Steps. All it is,
and then I'll be able to use my phone to get on.
Yep.
Oh,
it's an encryption thing. It's to prevent from people just popping up showing their ass.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is. It's an encryption stuff.
So Laurel,
huh?
When did you what made you change your mind? I'm just being
Barbados. Barbados.
Exactly, Barbados.
Oh, so okay. I see a lot of people saying that's what changed their mind because they want to travel. Oh, okay.
Her husband bought her a new thong that she can rock in Barbados, only in Barbados. She was like, let's go.
The great land of the flying fish. The land of the flying fish.
Well, I said it. If they restricted me, trust me. Yo, if they said I would have to wear a thong to be able to travel, it's on. What's up?
You got it on anyway. What difference will it make?
Ain't nothing. You know what I mean? What? I'm that kind of man. What? Let's travel. Let's
go to bed, Nikki.
She falling asleep.
Good night.
I know. I'm tired. I gotta work tomorrow.
You and me both. I gotta be there at 9.
Me too. I only work Saturday and Sundays. I gotta be there at 8. I gotta get up at 6.
Y'all gotta be there early. I ain't gotta be there until 2.
You don't live, but you don't work too far from where you live at, right? Or you still work? You working up the street, right? No.
Oh, what street?
On Main Street. Aren't you working in social work right now?
No, I work at John Brooks Recovery.
And
we moved from. Oh well.
Social work. It's out. It's social work.
It ain't in Pleasantville
anymore.
It's not.
It ain't at the OK Mart.
Oh yeah, that's our main office. No, I work in the female I work with the females that used to be in Atlantic City on Tennessee Avenue. But we moved to Mays Landing.
Oh. Yeah, that's where when I was working TRICARE, we was always sitting out there, Pleasantville and Mays Landing at that at the recovery center. They're in Camden.
Okay. I thought you were working in tandem with the women's center, the county shelter up the street near on Dolphin Avenue. There was a county shelter that were working in tandem with some of the resource centers.
Okay.
Okay. Mays Landing. Okay, I can understand.
We finally moved to Mays Landing and got off that Tennessee Avenue. It was terrible. I hated it. I hated coming out on smoke breaks and being out there and being in amongst all that transaction and stuff. It wasn't healthy for us.
It was crazy. I'm glad. It was crazy how it was set up. It was a recovery center, but right outside the recovery center doors, right behind an alley, you get any fix that you want to. And they knew it. It was ongoing.
Yes, I'm glad we got to be moved. That was a blessing that we got to move in. And the place we got now is beautiful. I suggest anybody to come there to need help.
Okay. I think the only dilemma that you have with that now, or the hurdle, is getting people to travel there.
Oh well, I think they yes, they provide that. If you get to Pleasantville, where over there where the old Kmart was, they'll bring you. They make sure you get out there. Yes.
Yeah. They're using like the medical transportations. They're setting up for Angels and TRICARE and one time and another one. Okay. So another medical transportation.
They have connections with them. Like when they go into another facility, that's when they use them. But we have our own vans to transport from Pleasantville out to Mays Landing.
That's good. That's neat. If they build a relationship with people to be able to transport, so I think that's the biggest dilemma. It's for those that get that drive finally to take that step towards recovery, is taking that trip there. I used to run into problems like that when I was resourcing people to Hogarth Korea. I would send people out of state for their recovery, and then it was deliberate because I always found issues once they're in state, and if they're closer to the things, they have a chance of relapsing in atmospheres that they're close to, and in atmosphere that they're accustomed to. So I always send them to the sticks up in the mountains in Pennsylvania, and the success rates were not higher.
Second Baptist Church did that for me. Second Baptist Church. I wanted to get away, and I was ready to get clean. And they sent me all the way to Orlando, Florida, paid for my bus fare and everything. Had somebody there when I got off the bus to take me to. I never forget that place, and I'm always grateful they did that for me. I never forget the place was called Sunrise Mission. And it was beautiful there. And they paid for it and paid for my round trip ticket if I wanted to leave. They took me back to the bus station and brought me back. So gave me round trip ticket and connected with somebody in Orlando, Florida. That's what Second Baptist did for me. So ride to Second Baptist Church.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's the first time I've ever heard any testament like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Pastor Dave. Yes, he did. I'll never forget that. It's one of my angels.
Jim has told us that before.
Huh?
I don't recall.
So you've told us that before.
I don't recall.
I did?
I've heard this conversation because I got a big deja vu moment right now.
Oh, wow.
That's the weed and the cookies.
No, I'm allergic to weed. I'm allergic to it. The thing is supposed to be healthy for you. I'm allergic to it.
Sure you are. I got you.
No, I am. Seriously, my throat closed up.
Oh.
Hey, Mo, speaking about weed, did you know they just passed that bill in New York that it's legalized marijuana gaming zone now? They just passed it.
Recreation in New York. Times Square is in New York, a whole lot different. Them games outside of the Barclays Center in Brooklyn and in Madison Square Garden is going to be something.
They come into the credit union with that mess in their pocket, and I smell it. My nose inflames, my eyes start itching. I'm just like, and just smelling it.
It's just too aggressive. The smell of marijuana is so aggressive.
And then you can tell, you can smell the stuff in their pocket, and I'm like, I get a serious attitude. Like, man, keep that crap outside.
I'm like, whatever you indulge in, that's your business. When you smell that strong, then your business becomes my business, and I got a problem. I don't want to.
Especially if I'm having a reaction to it.
Yeah, I can imagine even worse. Yeah, but I guess
there's a whole lot of them coming in there with it. I'm like,
so tell people.
Most of them are us. Most of them are us. From young and all the way to the old.
If I ever indulge in it, it would be an edible, because the smoking shit. I don't like the idea of smoke near my face, let alone anything.
Well, that comes from us working in a casino all the time, and then they talking to you and blowing that crap in your face. I used to hate them as a dealer. I would pull the shoe to the middle of the table. They'd be like, "What you doing? You gonna stop blowing that smoke in my face? This is a smoking table. I don't smoke."
We've done it. I've done it.
Yep.
This one old guy, I got into it with him. because he kept calling me names underneath his breath, but the other people couldn't hear him, but I heard him every single time around. Man, we jumped all over that guy. You know?
That and the
So
vaping.
we do all nonsense.
Oh, the vaping.
That
Vape smoking and weed smoking is a different type of smoking. It will set the smoke detector's office in them room every time. And they don't understand. Talking about, I pay for a smoking room. You pay for a smoking room, but it's what you're smoking is the issue.
How does a detector know what you're smoking?
It's a heavier smoke. It's a denser smoke. Cigarette smoke, it blows up and it disappears. Weed smoke and vape smoke and hookah smoke, it hangs in the air. It doesn't clear.
Yeah.
It's a heavier.
It's a denser smoke.
Bigger particulate, right? Larger particulate. That's why certain smokes, fire, when you see ash, what you see smoke in the air, it's mostly ash. So that's why it's thick. So thick things set it off quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like cigar.
And then they reach up and try to take it off the wall. Now you done really messed up because now you got to pay for that detector.
Mm-hmm.
So your bonus.
They know when you remove the detector because there's a sensor in there.
Mm-hmm.
Young and dumb. Young, dumb, and stupid.
Y'all, damn. What time you ending tonight? Have y'all talked about what's going on? I cried. I know I got on late, but I cried 2 times during George Floyd's trial because it's still like I was traumatized. All over again.
We touched on it earlier because I think both Adrian and I feel the same way. The way the system is set up is that they're trying George Floyd more than they're trying Chauvin. They're like really tearing away at his character. This one, you know, the lawyer is trying to tear away on his character to try
but they're not getting no point with it.
Because his job is to get his client off. It don't matter how he do it. Any suspicion that could throw, throw suspicion or reasonable doubt of why they killed that man. He's getting paid to get his client off. Mm-hmm. No matter, with his morals or whatever. That's what he's getting paid to do.
But nothing that he's planting, nothing that he's using is working. Nothing. Because the defense, not the defense. What's the other part called? George
prosecution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the prosecution. They're addressing the issues before. You know how? Remember that video? What's it called?
Plus, it was so wide in the media. There's no way you can get a jury that's already partial or doesn't already have an opinion. There's no way.
Right. You know that video
me on that juror, and I would not convict that cop.
That video called 8 Mile. I mean that movie called 8 Mile with
right with Eminem.
Remember when he did that rap and he talked about himself? Then the other guy came on the stage and he couldn't say nothing.
Right.
That's the strategy they use with George Floyd. They the ones that brought out his addiction, but then they brought his girlfriend up there to make him human because a lot of us go through addiction. He wasn't a bad person because he had an addiction. So they brought it up first. So that was a good strategy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And you're gonna see stuff and you're gonna hear stuff, and it's trying, just like all this additional video footage you're getting. Then the professionals that were involved. The 911 operator who overheard it, and suggested something illegal was going on.
Yeah.
They tried to call the other professionals being involved. The MMA specialist that saw it and said something specifically to the officer. Everyone, you know what I mean? Everyone. But they're still asking the same question. Renee, we talked about earlier. What about the officers that were there? They were there. They aided and abetted in the whole situation. Mm-hmm. Yep. And Renee hit it. They showed every angle of the car, from every angle of the car. Every body cam. But what about the officers that were wearing the body cam?
And some audio. Oh my goodness. It just hurt me, devastated me all over again. So I can imagine the 7-year-old, a 9-year-old girl and a 17-year-old girl that they had at the trial, how they felt, because I was feeling this all the way here.
Yep.
I mean, I cried. Wow.
But what about the shop attendant, the young kid? The guy says, "I wish I should have never called the police if I know this was going to happen."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The young guy behind the counter. He says, "I never knew that they were going to kill the man for for this $20 bill." He said, "If I knew that, I would have never called him."
The guilt.
And a 63-year-old man that's never witnessed nothing like that in his life. And he was the first one on the scene. It's like, and he was 60. He in his 60s. He's got grandkids that had to witness that. And he was traumatized.
Yep. Renee had posed a question. She said somebody else had their knee in his back too. So yeah, in the beginning, there was more than one officer involved. Yeah.
That was the back. They had it all along the back of his body. But the killing, the one that killed him, the part that killed him was the neck. So that's what. And I don't think this. I hope he gets convicted because I don't think things is going to be quiet if he doesn't.
Well,
so that's what scares me.
We said that.
This one the Rodney King deal years ago with Rodney King. You remember that when everybody was waiting for the verdict with Rodney King, and as soon as they come to find out the cops got off, everything exploded. You know,
they
around
rioted,
the country,
they tore everything up.
Yeah,
a lot of places already done started boarding up.
Getting ready.
We're looking at it like, is this designated this way? Is it like strategic? Are they setting it up so they can have civil unrest and all of a sudden they can call a national crisis and then, you know, implement all the protocols to take over? You know what I mean? Is this like a setup? Because again, this is a trial in front of a camera.
That's what my husband, he's upset about. He was like, why are they televising this? I'm like, why not?
They televised the Trayvon Martin case. They already knew that Zimmerman was getting on.
The O.J. Simpson case, they did that one too. Remember that?
When a heavy influence of race and police officers, they televised it. That's a trip. Heavy situation. Other cases with other races, you don't see it televised. But in that situation, you see it televised.
Man, huh?
I don't know what it is, but I'm fearful the same way. That if justice doesn't fall in the right hands or you know on the way of the popular thought, then whatever's going to take place is going to be the end result. And whatever we saw with in
justice for whom though?
It's not even going to look. What's going to happen is can potentially be worse than what happened in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but look at it also, Mo, because remember, we're in a pandemic right now. It's not like many years ago when there wasn't a pandemic. So if you have an uprising now and you have a rise in COVID cases, and then you have this explosion, it's going to be crazy as far as how many people are going to be out in the streets and the whole 9 yards, not wearing masks, not social, no distancing or nothing of that stuff. So it's going to be like really, really bad.
Yeah,
it's going to be very bad in more ways than one, is what I'm saying.
Right. You remember in Seattle? During the pandemic, there were people out there. It was daily. Black Lives Matter, all kinds of riots and things like that. It was protests like crazy in Seattle and New York City. There was large amounts of people, and we would see it every day, all over the place. But Seattle was one that had it going on for months on end. So it's like people are on edge anyway. If this doesn't fall where it should, this potentially could be really, 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 really harmful. I mean, I can see bloodshed happening easily, and that's the bad part about it. You know what I mean? That's the bad part, because whose blood is it, and why? If this could have been avoided if we had justice from the beginning. You know, if the Chauvin did not get the chance, this is a guy. It was premeditated murder, basically, because he had a relationship with the person before that situation. They worked together and they knew each other. Chauvin knew him, so that was premeditated murder.
Wasn't one of them somebody's brother-in-law? Something?
I don't know about a brother-in-law, but apparently they were both security guards in some club.
But I think somebody.
They're both security guards at a club, you know, working there.
You
know, so
he saw an opportunity for him.
What they're going to try to do, though? The defense attorney is going to try to use the strategy, whereas they're actually saying he was not on George Floyd's neck; he was on his shoulder instead of his neck.
That's the new thing now. They done moved it to the shoulder. I ain't hear that.
Yeah, they're trying to move it to the shoulder. Yeah, it's trying to say, he was on his shoulder, not on his neck. That's the crap that I'm looking at.
If he was on his shoulder, that man would have still been wouldn't have said he couldn't breathe.
Exactly, he would have been alive because George Floyd is the big guy.
I think George Floyd even I'm not sure. He may have said, "No, I can't breathe. He's on my neck." I think he mentioned
He
neck.
did say that.
He said, "I'm
Yeah.
trying to kill me."
Yep.
He
A
said he's
number
trying
of
to
times.
kill me.
A number of times.
He says, "I can't breathe. Mama, help me. He's trying to kill me." So if he's
But you know,
verbalizing all that stuff, that's distress all the way around. You don't ignore it.
but the thing about it is, Mo, because with cops, you're supposed to, detain, but they didn't detain and restrain, but they never done any of that. They detained the guy, but they killed him. And I think
But
Chauvin
I don't see.
wanted to feel what it feels like to kill a person. With his
They
bare
detained him and he died. I don't think the
feet.
intent to kill was there.
I don't see
But
anybody
that's
on
okay.
Chauvin's side. Everybody they've interviewed, even the detective, even the sergeant, everybody has said that he was wrong. Everybody, the girlfriend, the EMT worker was just walking by in her regular clothes. Everybody is devastated by it. That's been on that witness stand. Nobody is for Chauvin. I've seen nobody.
I don't believe he will be charged with murder. He won't be
Manslaughter,
found
maybe.
guilty of manslaughter or murder. They're going to get him with something so low grade, it's like a slap on the wrist. That's that, and they're going to say justice this way. They're going to find a law, and there's always gaping holes in the law in the judicial system in every state. And these lawyers and judges know it, and they wait for opportunities to throw it in there, just so they say that this law was already established. It's the same situation that happened with Eric Gardner, with the choke situation of Eric Gardner. They try to say that it was a justifiable move based on it, regardless if the chief said, the mayor said it's no longer usable because the law suggests you could use it, and it wasn't intended this way. It was an accidental death. We know they killed his ass. They killed his ass, just like the other brother. What was the guy running in the neighborhood? He was jogging in the neighborhood. They shot him from a distance. Aubrey, right? Aubrey. And then the law suggests it was a defense mechanism. It's always some sort of law, and that's why I said we have to pay attention. We have to pay attention at all levels. That's why we have to encourage our young people who are intelligent enough to really dive into it, to become lawyers, to become judges and legislators, to change this whole judicial system. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to take a decade or more work to really start changing it. But we have to be adamant and no friends. We're not here to make friends or allies. It's about winning this whole battle by making justice come to fruition. We have to change the laws. Don't give shit up and change laws to make it so it's equitable. So everyone gets justice, not just people who can afford it.
Well, speaking about laws, look at what's going on down in Georgia. How they're actually trying to stifle their voting rights. They said that you can't pass out water while in the long lines voting.
There was another craziness again. But you saw how Lindsey Graham was being asked, that question was asked, and he just could not answer it. All his whole discussion was, his defense was just that they shouldn't give food to people in line and drinks to people in line. But you're not talking about the fact that you're making less voting sites available to people. So people then have to wait and getting long lines. Then you're shortening the day that people can actually vote.
Yeah.
So it's disgusting. Terry's on, y'all, and he says seems like there's no way he can't be found guilty. We assume that there's no way that he can't be found guilty. We assume it. If this is the justice system and the way white supremacy works alongside with the justice system, there's going to be some way for him to get just a pat in the back. He may be found guilty, but he won't be found guilty for manslaughter or murder. I just can't see it. Even with a defense situation where the witnesses come on, I just can't see it.
Even if the jury and I just found out everybody has to be in agreement. If one person says no, he's not guilty, then he's not guilty. I ain't know that. I was like, no, I'm telling my husband, no, the majority. Yeah. He said no, everybody has to, all 12.
That's what
I never knew that.
Yeah, it used to be majority rule. They changed that because there was too many
reasonable doubt.
It has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. So
everyone. Yep.
Yeah, it used to be the majority. Yeah, it's not like that anymore.
Came up with that stuff saying, "Oh, it was a shoulder." not his neck, it was his shoulder. Because now you could actually present reasonable doubt by saying that, yeah, it was his shoulder. Just look at the video.
Mhm.
And then to show you the video from a different angle.
Even murder in the second degree.
Adrian, don't give him no damn ideas. Be quiet.
I'm not working for the defendants, okay, Gina?
That cop is not getting 25 years. That cop is not going to be no second, first or second. He's going to get some type of less than manslaughter or whatever. But it's not going to be
He's
25 years.
to be found guilty, not guilty for the charges, or not guilty of the charges. Exactly. They're going to be guilty or not guilty. Depends on which charges. Remember, we've always thought, flip this around. Think about OJ. OJ
did it. I don't care what you say about that one. OJ did that.
She said OJ did it.
OJ did that. And but his lawyers got him off. He had good enough attorneys that got him off.
Hell yeah, he got the right one. He got the Kardashian, and then he got that whole team was no joke, and they turned that law around. And from there on, white supremacists and supporters of the justice system that way kept thinking, from now on, we're gonna make sure that turns around to our benefit, and we're gonna use it against them.
Change it, yeah. That's the reason why right now, like Biden just put 5 federal judges, 4 women and one black man or one man, as far as federal judges are concerned, because like I said, the whole entire deck is stacked, and that's what Mo is actually trying to say.
How OJ got off was that stupid cop. The stupid cop tried to plant evidence. The evidence is already there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terry, I know you watch.
Stupid cop messed it up.
The one situation you look at, it says either they have to charge him or not charge him. No, they have a mistrial and not vote at all. They can all actually say it's a mistrial. They'll have to start back anew. It can be a mistrial, and he's winning by default with a mistrial. That's the one situation when it comes to the court situation.
What the is working on right now.
Always come out because there's so much influence that can say we're going to charge him, and he's going to be found guilty, and white supremacy is going to come out, and this monster is going to come out, and they're going to say no, we can't.
It's going to either way. It's going to be a mess.
If there's
either going to be Black Lives Matter is going to show out, or the white supremacists is going to show out. So it's going to be a mess.
I always say that there's 2 types of justice system. There's God's justice, man's justice, and street justice. One of them going to get them. At the end of the day, one of them is going to get them. One of them, you can't get away. One of them is going to get you. Look at Jeffrey Dahmer. When they put him in jail, what happened? The guy beat the hell out of him and killed him with a broomstick. Inside the main basement.
Hell yeah.
That's how he died. One of them going to get you. One of them going to get you. You can't escape justice. One of them is going to get you.
Right.
So, that's where I'm confident, because one of them is going to get you one way or another. You go to the hall and you eating, somebody could slip something inside of your food and kill you right there on the spot. One of them is going to get you. Yeah. When you're a marked man, you're a marked man, bottom line.
That's karma. But you know what? I still see the same shit. Anytime something of this magnitude comes out and you have a police officer, potentially, there's so many trappings that get involved in the justice system. The justice system will find some way to protect that officer in the process of him being prosecuted. They're still going to protect him. Put a jacket, a bulletproof vest. He has accommodations inside the all that stuff. Everything's involved to protect him.
And the police unions are very popular. Very popular, those police unions. Very big bucks right there.
Hell yeah. And it's a shame. But I mean, that's why I said I try not to put too much emphasis in watching what it is, other than I'll listen to what transpired before, the night at the end of the night. Because the points of it, the points of discussion are really, it's what's helpful, because you can tell whatever the actual stream of activity is going to go. You can tell what it is. And then if it's something extraordinary, something totally different. But to watch it continuously, that to me is like emotional torture. To anybody of color, anybody with a heart, really, it's emotional torture.
Yeah, because I do it. I cried for the first 3 days.
Break it down.
And for the court system to allow it to be out that way, I don't know if and I said this earlier, I said, I don't know if it was intended to be that, like it was an intention to create this kind of chaos outside, or was just a happenstance, just all of a sudden they just didn't think it would be this damaging, because they want to make sure that everyone see that the justice system is clear and free of doubt. I'm like, I don't know, but it's damaging. It's so many people emotionally embedded into this that the whole discussion, everyone's discussion in every angle touchbacks to this, everything, even sports, even some of that topic. They're trying to avoid it. Like some of the NBA players are wanting to talk about their experiences. They're talking about this, and people like ESPN and everything are trying to divert from that discussion. That discussion is overwhelming everyone's kitchen table and discussions at home or at the water jug. It's part of everybody's day. Did you see today? Did you see today? Did you hear that? Did you see that? Yep. It's part of everything.
Ratings.
Big time.
I didn't even know what was going on. That's how out of touch I am.
Mm-hmm. That will come upon this country.
Another thing that's also happening out there that I don't know if too many people are following, is that Congressman Gatz from Florida. This guy actually is under investigation by the FBI, by the Department of Justice, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. Did you follow that story yet? Mm-hmm. The guy, the congressman, as far as he was dating or he was messing around with a 17-year-old girl, a Congressman Gatz from Florida. This is one of Donald Trump's big, backing in his supporters.
You know what? I did see something recently. Yep. They made a bit. They're starting to blow it up on it. How he was caught with.
Starting to blow it up.
Yep. I think CNN touched on it the other day.
Ironically, it was after his presidency, though, right?
BBC. Wasn't it that cat that was roaming around talking shit like he was the man? Not Cohen. What was it? Was it Cohen?
No, this one is Gatz.
Okay. Because I know I've seen a couple pictures. And they show the same thing, like a real cocky.
Yeah, he's a cocky dude, man. He's a Republican guy. He's so far up Trump's ass. You can't tell night from day with this guy.
Yep.
This is the guy that showed up, in Congress with a gas mask on. I don't know if you remember that time. He had a gas mask on, sitting inside of there.
It was his fundraiser where Trump just came up out of Telluride, right? Recently, it was his fundraiser in Florida.
Right. Mm-hmm. He's a big backer. Anything that Trump says,
this guy. It's funny how all this after Trump's presidency, though.
Was that?
That's a cult.
I said it's funny how all this is happening after Trump's presidency.
Man, I just think they're
talking about Trump is trying to make a comeback in 2024 is what they're actually talking about. The Republicans. Some of these guys are like, oh yeah, he wants to put on his own channel now because they kicked him off of Twitter and Facebook. So now he's trying to make a comeback. So he wants to start up his own channel.
He tried to use
everybody send money now. Don't send the money to anyone else. Send the money directly to me because I want to invest it in my campaign again for 2024. The man is a modern day freaking con artist. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
it's a cult 45, just like this says, cult 45.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what Terry had touched on, as you said,
smooth every time.
So he said simultaneously wanting justice for Reginald Floyd. George Floyd. Forgive me, Reginald Floyd. Wow, that name from the past.
Reginald.
George Floyd.
Who's Reginald Floyd?
Right?
Passed in Lake City. It was a while ago. Anyway, that he wants justice for George Floyd, but he also is looking forward to whatever melee and destruction comes about, because it's time for a shift, a paradigm shift. And to a certain extent, I totally understand. And if it comes, we're prepared for whatever the shift can be, because it's inevitable.
What's the paradigm shift? I read that comment. And what's the paradigm shift?
Just the shift on the world, how the whole world is. Paradigm shift is how your focus and everything changes and flips all of a sudden. Like paradigm shift, the pandemic. Pandemic created a paradigm shift. It made you have to change everything, your whole outlook, everything. It made you.
Okay.
Yep. So when this is basically making a huge shift, and I can see the potential for it. However, it's going to take multiple examples of this for it to really, really take place, I think.
But a lot of people are bracing with this. Everybody's watching this trial, and people are bracing here and there because a lot of people have seen what happened back in the day with Rodney King. We've seen what happened there. And not to mention, something's around the corner. So you're looking at that. The weather is going to be breaking. A lot of people are going to be getting out, during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to have that shift and that reset.
It is definitely. What were we saying? Say it loud.
No, clear enough. Did you ever talk about the officer?
She's trying to. My wife is whispering to me, and she knows my attention is away from y'all, but she's whispering. Say something.
Just look at me.
Say it.
Did you ever talk about the officer?
She's still whispering. Ah, la, la. I can't hear you whispering. I can't hear you whispering. There we go.
I didn't know about the attack at the Capitol.
Okay. She's still whispering. I keep telling you, boy. How you whisper? I'm in front of a camera. I got other people with me in front of a camera. You gonna whisper to me? She don't get it.
Here.
Because I'm talking to me.
They were quiet for that moment.
They were quiet for that moment.
She don't get it.
They heard me.
She don't get it. The mic's right here. This is the mic right here. She don't get it. She don't get it. Anyway.
I just love this family show. It's better than the Waltons.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm about to bid y'all adieu.
Okay. You're gonna bid us adieu. Okay. All right. Adieu.
Mm-hmm.
Lila talk.
Adieu.
Lila talk. Lila talk.
Yeah.
Lila talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's Hebrew for good night.
Same bat time, same bat channel next week.
God willing, yeah.
And you know
good. Well, y'all, it is 20 minutes after 10. We've been on for 3 hours and 20 minutes. If y'all want, we can stay on for a few more minutes. But if not, we'll close out for the evening. Gina, you got to get up in the morning. You got to get up in a couple hours.
Me too.
Yep. So as the ladies go out, Adrian, I think we'll close out for the night. Is that all right? It's all good?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Let them get some beauty sleep. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's
beauty
right.
Sleep is always looking good.
Gina, say a few words to the folks in closing.
Hey,
good
like
night. I missed the whole conversation, but I'm praying for justice because it's long overdue. Absolutely. And George Floyd's family needs it, his kids need it, and I need it. I mean, as a Black woman, I need it. So we just praying that I'm just praying that justice will be served for him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't like this new norm. I gotta clear them cookies because I keep looking at myself in the camera and look like I'm looking over that way, and it look like I should be looking that way. I'm confused. I'm messing around. I'm gonna clear these cookies.
Yep, you get it.
Clear those cookies, girl. Get rid of those cookies. Just make sure you wash down with some milk.
Yeah. Brother Terry Rucker says, I'm gonna catch y'all in the beginning next week. I said, cool, come on over, brother.
Yeah, it's always good to have you. You know what I'm saying? It's always good guy.
That's how we do. Sure. So, brother Adrian, give us a few words of wisdom. Adrian says, come on, man.
It's one of those deals, man. Like I always said, it's your life, it's your right. Whether you want to take the vaccine, they call it a jab. So whether you want to take the jab or not, it's your life at the end of the day.
He got it. Watch. Sorry.
Say that again?
Sorry for interrupting on your time. I said, but you be back next week talking about you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, it's an independent decision after all. So if you want to travel and get out, it prevents you from having to quarantine if you go somewhere else. So that's a good thing right there. Yeah. But at the same time, you're still going to have to wear your mask, social distance, do the same thing that you've always been doing. Don't change your routine. Bottom line. And make sure you always get an annual checkup also, because that's very important. A lot of people, skipping their annual checkups with their physicians and stuff, and you got to make sure that you stay alive in one way or another. You don't want to be, staying at home, but at the same time, you're suffering from cancer, God forbid, or whatever the case may be. You want to also get your checkups. So it's very important to take care of yourself and take care of your health.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
what I'm all about. And like I always say, be positive and test negative. That's where we're at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we thank all of y'all as always. If it's not for y'all, the show wouldn't be what it is, and we greatly appreciate all that stuff. Make sure, folks, that you do whatever you can to stay aware about what's going on. Pay attention. Don't be scared of life. Life ain't there going to bite you. It's the people that's in it. Just stay upright. Stay encouraged. It's extremely important because mental health is also one of those type of things that I think also cause that addiction. You can get addicted to having a good life. Just be addicted for the right reasons. Be addicted to love, be addicted to one another, the love that you have for one another, and having a good time. And if you can, puff pass good times to each other. All right, how about that? And we'll see each other next week. Thank you for coming by. This is the New Norm 2.0 with Mo Delgado. I'm your host, and this is the family. And we wish you all the best. And as Adrian says, stay positive, but please test negative.
That's where we're at.
Yep.
Have a blessed weekend.
Good night.
Take care.
Take care.